Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Virtual Racers Club. Word up, y'all. It's Friday night. We're here with our third endurance race. We started with Le Mans, we went to Spa, and here we are down under. Good day, Ripper. We're here down under at Bathurst for our 2.5-hour endurance race on a Friday night. We had qualifying last week, so I will get you up to date with who's qualifying in this endurance. We're running two classes, the Group 3 and the Group 4 cars. They qualified last week, and the two times, their two best times of the two qualifying sessions were put together. Racer Brown will be starting on pole with a 4:02.620. Matt Psycho in second. These are all Group 3 cars. I'll tell you when they change. Matt Psycho in second with a 4:04.100. In third, Homesick Alien with a 4:04.194. In fourth, Stevie Styler with a 4 minutes 5 second 194. In fifth, Jam with a 4:06.669. In sixth, Darren Salmon with a 4:06.948. In seventh, Jim on Wise with a 4:08.059. And in eighth will be Kale, but he didn't set a time. Then, first on pole for the Group 4s was Gazman with a 4:24.455. In second, in Tulo with a 4:25.401, sorry. In third is Skyjacker with a 4:25.459. In fourth, Shadow Rider with a 4:25.638. My word, it was tight in the Group 4s in the middle section. In fifth, Jokers with a 4:27.788. In sixth, Pat with a 4:31.008. And in seventh will be Talleyrand, but he did not set a time. So that is your runners and your shakers. Like I said, it's going to be a 2.5-hour race here at Bathurst. We're all very excited because this one we're doing for charity. And let me tell you, it's excelled what we expected. It really has. Just before I started broadcasting, I was sent a screenshot of how it was doing. And we had a target of £500, and we're already in £580, so we are really extremely pleased with how that's gone on. If you feel like giving a little bit to the Sick Children's Society, that's who we're doing this for. They put up board for people whose children are in hospital, for the parents, so the parents and the children can stay together. It's a mighty fine cause. Then you want to go to www.virtualracersclub.co.uk and once you're there, accept and close them cookies. You want to click on the picture of the VRC Bathurst promo, the Mount Panorama one, with the Pepsi Max car livery on it. If you click on that, then that takes you to our Just Giving. Right, where's my wallet? How long we got until race start? We've got about 2 minutes. See if I can get this done quickly. Let's have a look. We'll have a look around. Oh no, we're looking at Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler in his Jaguar. I think it's a big mixture of Jags. Kale is in, look, was that a Corvette? Yeah. No, third, we've got Shadow Rider. He's in a Viper. On Wise opted for the Corvette, so we can see the mix of cars. Let me see then, let's see. So yeah, 580 quid in the Just Giving page. That link will take you to, right, give now. I'm clicking on, and then let's see. If it's all too complicated, I'll, oh, hello, Jim on Wise has got a Lightning McQueen livery. I like it, very cool. So let's see. A one-off. High donation amount from public view. No, I don't seem to want to, don't care about that. So let's continue on. Right, what's happening? We've not started yet, have we? No. Let's have a look around the fields. Darren Salmon in his Jaguar, silk cut Jaguar. put my name in. So if you lot go and look, you can see that I have just done one. And continue. What are we doing? Are we starting? Oh, is this it? No, we're in the piss. God, I'm so freaking out. Credit or debit card, we'll go with that. Oh, we've got 17 viewers, 8 chats already. Jokers in the chat saying good evening. Meek Wivery says hello, good evening and welcome. Skyjack says hi all. Jonathan Knowles says good luck everyone. Holmes Galian says good luck everyone. IRG is good luck bruv. And IRG says also hi thingy. Hi IRG. Right, I'm trying to see if I can do this without reading out my card number on air. See if I can do this quick before they start racing. I can't even read my card, it's so worn down. Is everyone saying okay? Hi Jam's mum in the chat on the thing, in the game, 4104. Right, card holder name, okay. I'm not doing all caps, it's just going to have to be what it is. What are they doing? Saying yes, yes, yes. So it looks like we're going to start racing very soon. Oh, yeah, oh God. So I don't want to do this. I might ask my missus to do it in the background while I'm trying to concentrate on the race. Or my son. Wow, how exciting. It's not letting me click on it. I've messed it up. Anyway, welcome to our 2.5 hour race. It wasn't a great idea, me trying to do something technical whilst I was doing this. Really wasn't. There we go, we're back on it now. Hang on. Lennon. I'm trying to shout slyly. He's the only one. Everyone listening on YouTube can hear me, but he's the only one. Can you quickly just do this for me while I'm trying to concentrate on this? I've got to put the expiry date in. Here we go. The final's been started. 2.5 hours. I went for a wee just before, so hopefully I'm good to go. No quick nipping off. Also in the chat, we've got Talaran saying hi. Alan Sight saying good luck guys. Racer Brown saying hello all. Talaran saying good luck all. Gary Harding saying good luck all. Meek Wivery saying good luck all, everyone. So there we can see the grid that I read you earlier. Oh no, homesick on the front. That's not right. That grid is incorrect, I believe. So I think they're all going to have to quit out, because I had it as Racer Brown was on pole. I can't double check because what's the matter?
So you start postcode?
Yeah, you can use our postcode. So they are going around, I don't know. I'm having a bit of a, there we go, grids. Someone's writ grid.
Yeah.
And does it continue? Confirm donation, I think. Oh, I want what? Hang on, let me read that. I think they're all going to exit, so that's, something's not right there. Right then.
What is that for?
It's for this charity we're doing here, for the Sick Children's Charity. They house people while their kids are in hospital. It's a great cause, and this is why we're doing this race tonight. So the race was cancelled. I've confirmed donation, haven't I? Oh, you got to put an email in. Can you shove my email in there?
It's the RPM.
Yes, please.
I don't know, but 1276.
Yeah. RPM 1276 at yahoo.co.uk, I think.
You're going to get a bunch of spam emails?
No, I'm not going to get spam emails. No one in GT Sport World sends emails. I've been tempted to read my number out just to say, hi guys, send me a text.
What's popping?
What's popping, guys? Have a little sip of my latte. Are you good?
To share your contact details with the bloke who's running this?
Yes, go for it.
Right.
I know him personally.
Do you?
No, he's in the VRC, isn't he? He's Skyjacker, I think.
Has it?
Yeah. So, in all of this going on with the grid being wrong, I believe I've made my donation to...
No, no.
Completing your donation. See, it didn't take long, and it wasn't very difficult. And I think that's it.
So poggers.
Poggers, message from the charity. Thank you for your kind donation to the Sick Children's Trust. Your money will go directly towards giving families with a seriously ill child in hospital a warm and comfortable place to stay and someone to talk to, just minutes from their child's bedside. We receive no government funding and rely entirely on the generosity of people like you to ensure every family with a seriously ill child in hospital can be together. Thank you. So there you go. That's it. That's how easy it is to do that. Let me go back into the view whilst they're sorting out the grids. Let me get rid of the big numbers. I think I'll have to do it at the beginning of the race anyway. You can see there Skyjacker in his Chevy doing some donuts. So yes, that's me. I've done my little bit there, and hopefully that means that the money now, if it's added to the pile, we should be on 610. So someone else has also put in. Fantastic. Thank you very much out there for whoever else is Ian and Katie. Super stuff. Thank you very much. And there's me at the top there with mine. I've just put in 1 minute ago. So yeah, crack on guys. Like I said, www.virtualracersclub.co.uk. Click on the picture of the Bathurst race, and that will take you to our Just Giving page. A quick reminder, excuse me, a quick reminder of what this grid is, if I can get there before he starts. He hasn't started yet, or he's asking everyone if they're ready. So let me see. It's Racer Brown is on pole. Racer Brown, then Matt Psycho, Homesick Alien, Stevie Styler, Jam, Darren Salmon, Jim on Wise, Kale, then Gazman, Intulu, Skyjacker, Shadow Rider, Jokus, Pat, and then Talleyrand. Is your order that you're looking for. I've got to try and remember. These numbers change, it freaks me out. I'm trying to find a pen in front of me. So everyone's saying their yeses. I haven't. I suppose I should. Is he waiting for me? I don't think he is. There he goes. Start of the final. We're seconds away from this very exciting race. Chris P in the chat. I'll be donating after the race, as the amount I donate depends on how Matt does. Oh, very good. I like it. £10 minimum, 15 if you finish third, 25 for second, 50 for first, or 100 for first and fastest lap. Wow. And Pat says updated helmet this week. It now matches the car. Didn't last week. So there we can see a Racer Brown. Oh, it's a rolling start as well. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Keep those wagons rolling. So Racer Brown leads them all the way. The Group 3 and the Group 4 cars being led away now to start this 2.5 hour race. 73 laps around the mountain. And there he goes. He's off ski into Hell's Corner. Lovely stuff there. He is in the Jaguar, closely followed by Matt Psycho, also in the Jaguar. He's in the colours of the Sick Children's Society. He's the man that brought the cause to our attention. And obviously we're rooting for him to win and get fastest lap, because that'll really help. But so far, Racer Brown, he's pulling away. He's a second ahead of Matt Psycho. Homesick Alien starting to put some pressure on Matt Psycho with Stevie Styler close behind him. Fourth, Jam there in fifth in his Chevy, with Darren Salmon in the Jaguar just behind, and Kale in his Chevy just behind them. Jim on Wise then in eighth. Then we're to the Group 4 cars. Gazman leading from Intulu, with Shadow Rider in third. Fourth is Jokus ahead of Skyjacker in fifth, with 6 Pats and 7th is Talleyrand. Sorry, I've got to get used to me numbers. Talleyrand there in a Jaguar also. Missing out on qualifying, but he's here for the race. Up ahead then, Racer Brown, 1.5 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho still ahead of the Alien. They're both nudging the wall. That'll help Stevie Styler. Let's have a look what Stevie Styler can see. Sitting on board the Jaguar in the top 4, chasing them down. We're still on lap 1. We've got a long way to go. Louis Silva says good luck in Toulouse. And here we go in the tow. We can see we've just waltzed up. Where's Homesick? Did we go past Homesick while I was reading the messages? Well, there you go. So Homesick dropping back into 4th behind Stevie Styler. I totally missed it. You must have seen it while you're in the car. So Homesick in 4th. Matt Psycho, hands full there. He's got 2 very hungry Jaguars wanting to get past. Jam is less than a second behind Homesick Alien with Darren. 1.5 seconds, but it looks like Kale's ready to make a move. He's gonna, no, he's tucked it back in. He's tucked the Chevy back in behind the Jaguar. Jim Wise trailing these guys by about 2 seconds in, let's say, one of the best looking cars out there. Very good. Then Gasman still leading the Group 4 cars in his Dodge Viper, with Intulu in the Jaguar in 2nd place. 3rd place goes to a Shadow Rider at the moment in his Dodge Viper. Skyjacker in 4th, 5th. What did I say? He's going faster. He's trying to catch the cars up in front. Then you have Jokus in the Jaguar, Talleyrand in the Jaguar. He's already ahead of Pat. Pat looking like he's dropped a little bit back from these guys. Maddie says good luck, Uncle Matt Psycho, in the chat, in the YouTube chat. And Viscofi says let's go in Toulouse. So Racer Brown 2.3 second lead now. Only, we're not even at the end of the 2nd lap yet. Matt Psycho, he's playing the long game. They're both on the racing soft tyres. Stevie Styler's dropped back from Matt Psycho now, and Homesick Alien getting that tow. He's looking up the inside of him, coming down Conrod Straight towards the chase. Here's the chase now, heavy on those brakes. He's got ahead, that tow helping down at Conrad Straight. Racer Brown 2.3 seconds, just coming to complete his 2nd lap. Only 71 more to go. I hope you've got nothing planned for this evening, because we're in for the long haul. There he goes. Beautiful stuff. A 202.3. Matt Psycho managing a 202.3 also. Homesick a 203.1. Hang on, 202.3. So, oh yeah, Matt Psycho a second slower in that lap. Homesick Alien a little bit faster than Matt Psycho. Stevie Styler dropping behind the Alien with Jam, only just over a second behind Stevie Styler. Kale is 6/10 behind Jam, so it's Chevy v Chevy coming up there. There's Darren Salmon. He's dropped back into Jim Wise's hands. Jim Wise doing a 204.4 his last time around, and Darren Salmon managing a 206.3. Maybe been a wall nudge there. Gasman still holding that 1st place back there for the Group 4 cars. These Group 4 cars obviously a lot slower than the Group 3, and when it comes to being lapped, they take priority. They're not to deviate from racing line. It is down to the faster car to get past the lapped cars. In Toulouse there in 2nd spot. He's 2.1 seconds behind Gasman, but 1.1 second ahead of Shadow Rider. His last lap was a 2:12.888, and Shadow Rider's was a 2:12.6. So Shadow Rider just 2/10 faster. He's in 3rd place, sitting happy in that Dodge Viper. So far, nothing to report with tyres. They all seem to be on the racing soft. They've all opted for that one. There is Skyjacker. Whoa, he's hanging it out there. He's 3.7 seconds behind Shadow Rider now in 4th. and he's 4 seconds ahead of Jocus, who is in 5th place. Talleyrand 3 seconds behind Jocus also, 2:13.7 his last time round. He's flying now, and Pat there with a 2:16.7 on his last lap. So Racer Brown going faster again with a 2:02.2, but Matt Psycho joining him in the 2:02s with a 2:02.9. Just under 3 seconds behind at this point. Homesick Alien 1.2 seconds behind Matt Psycho, with Stevie Styler 2.2 seconds behind Homesick Alien. Kale catching them up now, only a second behind. Kale's got past Jam, sorry, missed that on track. I imagine he did it in the toe. Down Conrad Sprate. Just gone through Griffin's Bend and heading up turns 3 and 4, the cut-in. We'll have a look at what Jam can see, his view. So we can see the back of Kale just disappearing up the road, less than a second ahead of us. If we stay on boards, whoa, Kale kicking off the sparks off the wall there. It's going to take some endurance driving these cars for 2.5 hours around here. You're always working around Bathurst, not many breaks, not like Le Sarthe. It's like straight line chicanes. Oh, you can see Kale's really struggling on them walls at the moment, and Jam has caught up with the Corvette down into Forest's Elbow. Oh wow, thank you very much to Mam-in-law and Nigel for watching and donating. How cool is that? Brilliant stuff. I feel all conscious now. Don't know if I can do this. I'm going to go to pieces. Usually strangers watch, not people I know. So there we see Jam catching up with Kale, the two Corvettes racing it out. Racer Brown 3.2 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho just coming up to the line now to complete his 4th lap. He's managed a 2:02.3, his fastest. Racer Brown did a 2:02.1. Really, there is nothing stopping Racer Brown today. Homesick Alien some 2 seconds behind Matt Psycho now. He is 2:03.3, did on his last lap with Stevie Styler, a 2:03 dead, so he's hunting down the Alien right now. Kale in 5th, 1.7 seconds behind Stevie Styler. I think he's pulling him in. And Jam is sticking to the toe of Kale. Darren Salmon, we saw him dropping back towards Jim One Wise. There's less than a second between these two. They're racing hard. Sat on board Lightning McQueen's car. Oh, I've pressed the wrong button, hang on. Let me get that back up. Sat on board Lightning McQueen's car, chasing the Silk Cut Jaguar of Darren Salmon for 7th and 8th. The last of the Group 3 runners. There's some 30 odd seconds ahead of the Group 4 cars now. It's still not looking like anyone will be looking for a pit stop pretty soon. We're only 10 minutes into this 2.5 hour race, so we're some way off any kind of pit stops at the moment. And there, Darren Salmon pulling a little bit away from Jim One Wise. Jim Wise doing a 2:04.7 his last time around. Going to try and get into the toe, but he might just be out. I think 8 tenths behind need to be for the toe. Ooh. It looks like Darren Salmon got a better drive out of that last corner. He's pulling away from him a little bit, so let's have a look at first place for the Group 4 cars, 2 seconds ahead of Intulu. He did a 2:12.865 his last time around. Intulu managed a 2:12.9, so there's nothing in it between the two leaders, and they can see each other. As you can see from Intulu's point of view, there is the leader, Gazman, not far ahead. Intulu sitting in the Jaguar, Gazman in the Dodge Viper. Race on between the two leaders of the Group 4 class, with Shadow Rider just less than 3 seconds behind us. It's a titillating race ahead from these two, but like I said, it's a long game. There's, oh, kicking up dirt there from Gazman. Will that slow him down somewhat? 1.8 seconds ahead of Intulu at the moment. The Portuguese driver, he's taken part in a few of our events now, and he's shown that he's a very good, very strong driver. He's driving for Ferrari in our Formula X Championship on Sunday evenings, and he's proven that he's a mighty fine driver. Shadow Rider there in third place. He can see the two ahead of him. He's hoping they start racing each other, slow each other down for him to catch them up. Skyjacker, he's some 6.7 seconds behind those guys. Did his fastest lap on his last lap with a 2:13.065. He's running the fuel down. We don't know what strategies people will be using. Talleyrand here has caught up Jokers in 6th and 7th here in the Group 4 cars. Talleyrand doing a 2:13.2 his last time around. Looking for a way past the Jaguar, is it, of Jokers. There's not going to be much room through this little area. They're nearly a minute behind, well, they're a minute 19 seconds behind the leaders. That's the difference between the Group 3 and the Group 4. Just 12.5 minutes into this race. So there's definitely going to be some lapping going on, and when they come across them in this section, whoa, there we see Jokers losing it on the curb, and Talleyrand just drives on by, says thank you very much, my Polish friend, I will take that position. And now that puts Talleyrand up into 6th place, 4 seconds behind Skyjacker, his fellow VRC racer, and he'll be chasing him down for a mighty great battle there. Up ahead, Racer Brown's got it up to 4.2 seconds. Did a 2:01.651 the last time around. That is the fastest of everyone. It's a remarkable pace he's getting out of that Jaguar. And Matt Psycho doing all he can to keep up. He did a 2:02 dead, his fastest lap the last time around. But it seems he's going to need to dig deep, find some more to try and take Racer Brown out. I believe Racer Brown says this is his track. He loves it. This is his home. His racing home. We all have a racing home, and this is it. This is where he lives. So Bathurst he is a big fan of. Matt Psycho there in 2nd place with Homesick Alien, some 3 seconds off of Matt Psycho. He also did a 2:02.0 his last time around. Stevie Styler a 2:03.0, a bit off of their pace. He's 4 seconds behind these guys. We can see that the tyres just starting to show a little bit of red. They'll feel that more than we can see that, I imagine. They'll notice cars just not turning in like they like it, running a little bit wide out onto those curbs where they don't want it to. But Kale catching up with Stevie Styler, I'd say. He did 2:02.8 his last time round. Stevie Styler 2:03.4. So Kale definitely reeling in the Jaguar of Stevie Styler. He's better watch out. No, Pat's gone. Don't know if he's had connection issues. Kale then chasing Stevie Styler in 5th. He's got jams, some 2 seconds behind him. He did a 2:03.6 the last time around. 7th, Darren Salmon, who's managed to pull a little bit away from Jim One Wise. Darren Salmon's last lap, 2:04 dead, with a 2:03.5 ahead of that. So he's been doing some good laps. Jim One Wise 2:04, very consistent, very, very consistent. That's the sort of stuff. The long game works for you. Gazman still leading those Group 4 cars. He's 2.3 seconds ahead of Intulu in 2nd place. Intulu going across the line with a 2:12.896. Gazman's last lap at 2:13 point dead. So 2/10 faster in Tulu. He's trying to drag him back in. It's a big ask. You just want to grab that toe. In third for the Group 4 cars is Shadow Rider, 2:14.8 last time over. He's 5 seconds ahead of Skyjacker, and Skyjacker 4 seconds ahead of Talleyrand. When the pit stops happen, it will all change, I promise you. And 14th on the track is Jocus after Pat's DNF. Racer Brown then, there he goes, a 2:01.9. He's unstoppable, 4.4 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho, 3.3 seconds ahead of Homesick Alien. Homesick Alien there, 2:02.7 as he goes across the line. He's 4.8 seconds ahead of Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler dropping back even further. And Kale is just... Oh no, it looked like Stevie was a little bit faster than Kale that last time around, and now it looks like Jam's pulling in Kale. So, got a three-way battle brewing here for 4th, 5th and 6th. Darren Salmon not that far down the road in his Jaguar. 2:03.7 his last time around. Jam at 2:02.9. Jam starting to pull out the stops. He's less than half a tank of fuel. Kale similar. Saved a bit more fuel than Jam. Oh, car, the Corvette looks very wiggly through at the twisty section. Pat says, looks like I'm joining you then, disconnected again. So it was an internet connection as we had guessed. So leader for Group 4, 2.6 seconds ahead of second place in Tulu. In Tulu going real wide in the chase. Heading down to Murray's Corner, is it? Yeah, Murray's Corner onto the main straight. He's chasing down the leader. He's 3.2 seconds behind him. We saw him going off a little bit then. He's 4.6 seconds ahead of third place. He can still see first place. Whoa, he's drifting it around Hell's Corner. He cares nothing for those tyres. Absolutely. On it, we can see his timesheet. We don't usually see things like that. So he's maintaining. He's up on his own time in Sector 1. So he's trying to close the gap between him and Gazman there in first place. His best lap on lap 8. The last lap at 2:12.554. 2:13.4 from Intulu. Shadow Rider at 2:13.3. 4.4 seconds behind. He's only just under 6 seconds ahead of Skyjacker. Talleyrand slowly chipping away at Skyjacker. He's got it under 4 seconds now. He'll be hunting him down. 2:13.474 from Skyjacker the last time round, and Talleyrand a 2:13.752. So no, Skyjacker a little bit quicker that last time around. And Joker's 6.8 seconds, but he's getting the blue flags. Racer Brown, this is... Oh, I've pressed a silly button. Racer Brown catching them up. Will it slow him down too much? He's 6 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho, and this is it. It's down to Racer Brown to make the move. And Jocus, he's just got to keep on his racing line if there's no room to go by. But there's Jocus, he's lost the car a little bit, and he's let him go. There you go, great stuff. So Matt Psycho, that costs Racer Brown about 2 seconds, it looks like, on track. But Matt Psycho's going to have the same issue when he comes across it. Stevie Styler, where's Homesick Alien? Homesick Alien, it looks like he's had an issue on his last lap at 2:13. He's behind Jam. Oh, we've missed a bit of action here. Homesick Alien must have had an off or something. He's not pitted. So there's definitely something gone off there. Stevie Styler, some 10 seconds behind Matt Psycho. And 1.5 seconds ahead of Kale. Kale reeling him in at 2:03.4 his last time round. Stevie Styler at 2:03.8. 4/10 faster for Kale. So that is one to watch. We've been seeing bubbling. There's Homesick Alien alongside the Corvette of Jam, trying to make the move. He's completed it before even the end of the straight. There you go, great stuff. So Homesick Alien recovering from whatever he suffered from to put him down from third into sixth, now moving up into fifth place ahead of Jam. Jam following him, keeping in that toe, doing all he can at the moment. Darren Salmon only 4 seconds behind these guys. 6.5 seconds behind him is a Jam. Then we have Gazman 3.5 seconds ahead of Intulu. And Intulu 4.5 seconds ahead of third place Shadow Rider. Fourth place Skyjacker, some 6 seconds now. Now Skyjacker's getting the flags, so Racer Brown 5 seconds ahead. Matt Psycho, he can see those. Who's he coming across? Well, it looks like Racer Brown already got past what looked like Talleyrand, but he's heading towards Skyjacker and Matt Psycho. It's 4.8 seconds between them. Stevie Styler, he's got a few blue cars. He's got a blue car ahead of him, I believe. No, blue flag, sorry. Blue flagged car ahead of him. That looks like Jokus. So Stevie Styler, only 2 seconds ahead of Kale, is coming across his first back marker in the Group 4 car. Oh, he's in the twisty section. Stevie Styler is trying to lose as little time as possible, and he manages it. What about Kale? Kale stuck behind Jokus. This isn't what Kale was looking for. He got it down to a second. Now he's chasing down, and he's got past the back marker of Jokus. Racer Brown looks like he's just got past Skyjacker. Matt Psycho 4.2 seconds. Looks like he's just got past Damien Talleyrand. It looks like Talleyrand had a bit of an off there. We're trying to find him. Talleyrand, he's back on the track now at 2:13.4. And he looks like he's carrying on. I thought he might have been changing tyres if you weren't happy with the tyres or something. He's now 8 seconds behind Jokus. Racer Brown 4.5 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho, so he's lost a couple of seconds through the back markers. The first person probably always will, because they're not ready for him, but Matt Psycho now coming across towards Skyjacker. I'm sure he'd like to get him before Griffin's Bend, but no, now he's going to have to follow him up through the section, tight and twisty section. It's going to be difficult. Oh no, it looks like a little help from Skyjacker there as well. Got Matt Psycho through, but it's 5.5 seconds now difference between those guys. There is Stevie Styler trying to get around the Group 4 cars in the section, tight and twisty section. He's only 8.7 seconds behind. Kale also trying to come through, drifting her up the hill in that Chevy. He's behind the Jaguar of the Group 4 Talleyrand car in the brilliant VRC livery. You can also see the Sick Children's Society logo. It's on all of the cars. That's why we're doing this, for the charity, for the parents of the children. And there, Kale going a little bit wide in that corner. So Racer Brown 5.6 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Those lapped cars still keep coming though, and they're going to keep getting faster and faster. Who is that he's coming across? Shadow Rider, is it? Oh, sorry. It will be, yeah, Shadow Rider. Oh no, that's Intulu. So Racer Brown already passed Intulu. Intulu 3.5 seconds behind Gazman. They're not losing much time, these cars. Matt Psycho, he is cleared. Skyjacker, it looks. Stevie Styler yet to come across those guys. He's 5-6 seconds ahead of Homesick Alien. Homesick Alien has come across Talleyrand, and Jam has managed to close right up on the Alien. Is he going to try and... I thought he was going to try and get an opportunity to get past the Alien then, but that's closed them right up now. Like the back markers, we thought it would shuffle things up a little bit. In the chat, Pat says, I think if I'd have lasted another lap, I think I was likely to have been caught by the leader. And Mario Mura says, go into low. Nice, that rhymes, I like it. Right, Darren Salmon has come into the pits. Our first pit stop in his Jaguar. Anybody else look like they're interested? Group 4 cars, their tyres are starting to look a bit red. There you can see Matt Psycho's come across Intulu in one of the tight twisty sections, but they seem to overtake each other without losing much time. How is that doing for Matt Psycho? He's 7 seconds behind Racer Brown now. We think Racer Brown has cleared all the Group 4 cars. Fantastic. Matt Psycho in second, 7.5 seconds behind Racer Brown. Stevie Styler in third, 8 seconds behind Matt Psycho. Homesick Alien in fourth, 6.5 seconds behind Stevie Styler. Jam in fifth. Whoa, we've lost Kale. We've lost Kale. My word, Kale did a 2:17.6 his last time round. So Kale had an awful lap and he's dropped down behind Jam some 7.5 seconds. Pat in the chat says that was an earlier stop than he expected. Jim on Wise now going ahead, but Jim on Wise is low on fuel, so maybe Darren Salmon was feeling the same thing. So Darren Salmon back out in 8th, some 9 seconds behind Jim on Wise. Maybe he's trying the undercut on Jim. We'll have to wait and see. There's Gazman. He's some 3.8 seconds ahead of Intulu. His tyres looking quite good. Intulu's tyres look similar as well. So these guys don't look like. Matt Psycho is in. Matt Psycho coming in. Racer Brown. His fuel is low. Racer Brown staying out, carrying on. What was Stevie? Stevie stayed out. Stevie's carried on. Their fuels are starting to look quite low. What's Homesick going to do? Homesick's really done well with conserving fuel. And Matt Psycho's still not out of the pits yet. He's still stationary. There goes Jam. Jam going through. Also, Kale. He's still not moving. Now he's moving. Can Kale do it? Kale's there. It's saying fifth, but the pit lane's on the corner, and there he comes. He's come out of the corner just behind Skyjacker, so he's got to lap Skyjacker again and chase down Jam. He's had a pit. He's put the racing softs on. Kale staying out there after his issue. He's only 3.5 seconds behind Matt. Darren Salmon. There's Jim on Wise. He's pitted. Darren Salmon's already ahead, so we missed most of that. And there he goes. Jim on Wise back out of the pit lane. Some 11 seconds behind Darren Salmon, but I imagine that will drop as soon as they hit a sector. Gazman, he's still got over 1/4 of a tank of fuel. The tyres only just looking a bit red. He's getting the blue flags as the Group 3 cars are coming through at the moment. In Toulouse, some 5 seconds behind him. He's lost a bit of time with these lap cars, I think. Shadow Rider, 5.5 seconds. No, just 5 seconds, sorry. Behind in Toulouse. There we see Jam struggling to get through the tight section ahead of third place Shadow Rider. And just behind Shadow Rider you can see Matt Psycho coming through. Matt Psycho on a push after his pit stop, trying to make it work for him. Wants to be close to Racer Brown when Racer Brown exits the pits. And there we go, Racer Brown has gone into the pit lane now. What will Stevie Styler do? He's got a red flashing fuel tank. His tyres looking quite mullered, so we assume he will come in. Homesick Alien also. His fuel's looking okay. His tyres look a little bit tweaked. We will see. Stevie Styler coming in. Racer Brown still in. Homesick Alien. He's going around the last corner. He's carried on. He has carried on. Homesick Alien carrying on, trying to keep those tyres alive for as long as he can. Matt Psycho crossing as well, but Racer Brown back out ahead of Homesick Alien. He's like a net 10 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. He put a little bit less fuel in than Matt Psycho, I believe. So interesting stuff. He's going for a quick sprint on those soft tyres. Homesick Alien yet to pit, 3.3 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho, but Matt Psycho is on a push at the moment. Kale up to 4th, still not pitted, with Stevie Styler in the pits and back out, some 5 seconds behind Kale. Darren Salmon in 6th, ahead of Jam. So the pits, that early pit stop for Darren Salmon has helped him jump Jam all over the back of him right now though. Let's get on boards and have a look at this racing goodness with the Chevy v the Jaguar. I want to have a sip of coffee. They're coming up towards the lap car. I think it's in too low. So Jam will be getting rather excited. There's 2 cars close together there. Don't know if that's Stevie. It won't be Stevie Styler, so I don't know who the car is in front of in Toulouse. I think that was Talleyrand. So it looks like Talleyrand got right out of that. Let's have a look. There's Talleyrand there, yes. He's only 4 seconds behind Skyjacker. Oh, that's Skyjacker, who's just behind Jam. Mintulu there being lapped by Darren Salmon and the Jam. They both get through. Brilliant stuff there. He's only 5.2 seconds behind Gasman. There goes Homesick Alien, finally in for that bit. Racer Brown continuing on after his outlap. There is Matt Psycho crossing the line and going past the Alien. Kale also coming in, and they just needed fuel. Stevie Styler then moving back up into his podium position. He's held for a majority of this race. And Darren Salmon, no. Ooh, looks like we just caught a bit of an accident there between Jam and Darren Salmon. Let's have a look. We're just coming up to the last corner, Murray's corner. Everything looks fine there. No, oh, it just looks like Darren went off on his own, and Jam, trying to get out of his way, just clipped him. So that's a little bit of action there, with Jam getting up into 5th place. Meanwhile, Homesick Alien made his pit stop. He's got out of the pits ahead of Jam, but he's come across race leader Gasman in the tight section. So this will help Jam and no end. He'll be loving this sight. Looks like Gasman letting Homesick Alien through, and all in Jam. Jam's needing to take the wall with him. And there they go through. But it's only less than a second between Jam and Homesick Alien. This is some crazy, crazy stuff. I know we're doing this for charity, so I have not forgotten. Half an hour into this race, on lap 16, I will look at how we are doing in the giving page, keep you up to date. In the chat, Pat says, I could get 16, 17 laps of fuel, but probably would have done 4 times 15 lap stints and then a 9 or 10 to finish, depending on how many laps behind I was. James says, wish I wasn't working so much, would have loved to have joined this. It's a great fun when we do our endurance racing. Racer Brown now 13 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho at 202.3, 203.1 his last couple of laps. Racer Brown at 201.8 after his outlap. That looks weird. Oh yeah, because Matt Psycho pitted before, did he not? He did on lap 13, and Racer Brown stayed out until lap 14. Racer Brown with the fastest lap of the race, 201.651. Matt Psycho pushing all he can. But Racer Brown today, he has got the measure of him. Stevie Styler there in 3rd, some 13 seconds behind Matt Psycho, with Homesick Alien only 7 seconds behind Stevie Styler. I mean, these gaps are not that big really if you think it's just a wall. It just takes a little wall to knock you around. Look, Darren Salmon, he jumped Jam, then clipped a wall, Jam back ahead again. This is the way it goes. This is the way. So Jam and Darren Salmon there, 5th and 6th, with Kale down in 7th. We saw he must have had an earlier issue. He's just lapping the leader of the Group 4 racing now. Ooh, it looks like a bit tough on that one. So Jim 1 Wise down in 8th behind Kale, but only by 1.7 seconds. Gasman, the leader of the Group 4 cars, is 5.5 seconds ahead of Intulu. It looks like he must have pitted on lap 13. I must have missed that, I do apologise. So they're pitting around the same time as the Group 3 cars. He's pitted, come out. Now he has Jim on Wise all up in his business. In Tulu, 2:15.5 his last time around, 2:15.8 for Gasman. So in Tulu starting to push that car a little bit to catch up. The Dodge Viper ahead. Up in 11th now, we have a Talleyrand. I don't think he's pitted yet. He's going for the long game. Probably not got great grip, but he's up into 3rd. Great stuff there from Talleyrand. Didn't notice that even happening. He's got to pit anytime soon. He's on a quarter of a tank of fuel still, though. Shadow Rider, he's been in on lap 14, come back out again. There you go, Talleyrand now going into the pits. Shadow Rider back up into 3rd. Jokus ahead of Skyjacker. Jokus mustn't have pitted anyway. Jokus really looks after his tyres. Oh, he's overshot the pit lane though. Trying to get back into the pit alley, and there he goes. So him and Talleyrand into the pit lane, and Skyjacker moving back up into 12th spot. I believe Jokus only just changing his tyres. Talleyrand moving. Talleyrand and Skyjacker very close together. We saw they were 4 seconds apart earlier in the race, and Talleyrand has pulled that right back to 1.2 seconds. So we have a race on our hands here at the back for 4th and 5th in the group of 3 cars. In the chat, Pat says, oh, it's at James. So, yeah, that's to someone else in the chat. Talleyrand out on his outlap on the racing soft compound tyres. He's topped up with fuel, and now he is chasing down Skyjacker for that 4th place in the group of 4 cars. That is one to keep an eye out for. Racer Brown now 13.8 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. We're on lap 19 of 73. 37 minutes into this race. Stevie Styler 15 seconds behind Matt Psycho with Homesick Alien. Some 6.7 seconds behind Stevie Styler in 4th. Jam 3.5 seconds behind Homesick Alien in 5th. With Darren Salmon only 2.5 seconds behind Jam. Those Jaguars are looking quite tidy today. Kale some 11 seconds down from Darren Salmon in 7th place, and 2.8 seconds ahead of the Corvette of Jim 1 Wise. Gazman still leading the Group 4 race. He's pulled out another second, it seems, on Intulu, up to 6.8 seconds. So nothing stopping Gazman right now with his Star Wars / Disney Plus livery. Looks fabulous. Let me quickly check. Just Giving, does it allow all cookies? I don't know how I don't know if it's updated. Let me go through it all again. So Gazman 212.7 his last time around in Tulu, managing a 212.7. So they're exactly the same time, a 212.718, a 212.728. So absolutely nothing in it between the two of them. It's absolutely fantastic. And there, just checking the Just Giving page, we're up to £630. Our target was 500. And this is breathtaking stuff. That's Jill Marshall. Thank you very much. Fantastic stuff. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone out there who's getting involved. I mean, it doesn't cost you any more than a trip to Costa, really, and it's as easy as hell on your phone to give a little to charity. So in Tulu, 6.5 seconds behind Gazman. Shadow Rider in 3rd. He did a 212.4 the last time round, so he's a little bit faster than the 2 guys ahead of him, but he's some 10 seconds behind. He's gonna have to go a long way to try and get back to them. 15 seconds behind him is Skyjack, and this is the battle. This is the battle. Talleyrand versus Skyjacker. Is it 2 Jags? And here we go. Talleyrand in. No, it's a Chevy versus Dodge. No, Chevy versus Shag. Sorry. There, Talleyrand in the tow, trying to get up, and it's neck and neck, heading towards the chase. They're late on the brakes. There's Skyjacker. He's on the curb. Talleyrand's still round that outside. Now he's on the inside. But Skyjacker dominates the corner and claims it as his own. But Talleyrand's going to go up for the inside line. They're side by side coming out of the corner. This is great racing here for the Group 4 cars, and Skyjacker still slightly ahead. Talleyrand again looking up the inside, but no, thinks better of it in Hell's Corner. There's a brave man who tries to make a move in this corner. He's right on the bumper, going for the toe up, mounting straight, heading up towards Griffin's Bend. He's got that toe. He's going to look out. He's looking out to see if he can get on the inside. Whoa, there's contact between the two cars. Can they stay on the road? They have done. Talleyrand obviously lifted a little bit. And Skyjacker still leading the two cars there, fighting for 4th and 5th in the Group 4 category. Great race in there. 41 minutes into this race. There's going to be some tired arms out there. There's going to be some guys wondering if they need a toilet. They don't necessarily do need a toilet, but the thought creeps in. That's how it begins. But there, looks like Talleyrand having a bit of a breather. The blue flags are back up. Racer Brown sharing the same bit of real estate as those guys. I've done the first season on the Touring Car Championship and the MX-5, but just found it hard to make sure I was at home for the race in the fast lane. So Racer Brown 14 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho 17.5 seconds ahead of Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler just done his fastest lap with a 2:02.638, with Matt Psycho doing a 2:01.7, the actual pace. Matt Psycho, you better watch out. Racer Brown. Racer Brown coming up to lapped cars now. Matt Psycho on a real push, 2:01.706, his fastest, only a tenth off of Racer Brown's fastest. Looks like he started to find the pace there, and there's plenty of time in this race to try and reel him back in. Stevie Styler, 2:02.6, 17.8 seconds behind Matt Psycho, but only 6 seconds ahead of Homesick Alien, where around here, a 2.5-hour race at the Mount Panorama, that is nothing. A 2:02.7 from Homesick Alien. He's only 3.2 seconds ahead of Jam. Jam 2:02.5. The pace out there is incredible. Looks like Jam is coming upon another pit stop soon. He's got less than a quarter of a tank of fuel. Homesick Alien. Oh, Homesick Alien can go a little bit longer there than Jam. Darren Salmon, 11.6 seconds. He's back into the pits. Interesting. Oh, he's hit the pit wall. That's going to cost him. It's going to cost him a hell of a lot. There goes Kale. Poor Darren Salmon. He was ahead of Kale. He's having to three-point turn to get into the pits. That's painful. There goes Jim One Wise as well, going through. Poor Darren Salmon. No one needs that. And so Racer Brown, he seems to have got through those first set of back markers. Matt Psycho, he's still to come across them. He's still maintaining around 14 seconds between the two of them. Stevie Styler, looks like he's just got past, who's that? Jokus. So Stevie Styler just getting past Jokus, some 20 seconds down from Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho some 14 seconds from Racer Brown. Racer Brown's got a little bit of clear air in front of him now, whereas Matt Psycho, it looks like he's got two cars. He's going to be catching up pretty soon. Stevie Styler 20 seconds with only 4.8 seconds ahead of Homesick Alien. Homesick Alien 2:02.633 his last time around. He's just coming across the Jokus. So they're not that far apart really, because it wasn't that far a lot long ago. We saw Stevie Styler getting past Jokus. In 5th there is Jam, only 5 seconds behind Homesick Alien, 14.7 seconds ahead of Kale. Do we have a yellow flag? Jim on wise. There's Darren Salmon. He's come out of the pits. He must be fuming. That's not what you need. He was going for a clever strategy. Pat says not a nice pit entry, this one, especially when you've got worn tyres. Yes. So there's Jim on wise. He's ahead of Darren Salmon by 14 seconds. He's got a quarter of a tank of fuel. His tyres don't look worn too much. So how long can Jim on wise stay out there? Can he pull a little bit of space out on Darren Salmon to try and get out ahead of him in the pits? Racer Brown leading the way. 14.2 seconds. Matt Psycho. Oh, he's coming. Oh, I think he's got past a couple of those back markers. So Stevie Styler is now going to be the next man on the track to find those. He did a 204.0 his last time around. Homesick Alien a 202.5. 4.6 seconds behind. He's pushing. The Alien is pushing to try and get that podium position. But at the moment, Stevie Styler has got his flag in it. Let's put a pin in that one. Jam. Looks like he's getting a purple. Is he on a push? No. Half a second down there. But his fuel is flashing, so Jam will have to come into the pits. Kale, he's got half a tank of fuel. His tyres look okay. When did he last pit? Lap 15. And Jam pitted on lap 14. So Jam couldn't have put much fuel in. And Kale must have topped up. 15 seconds. I think Kale could get ahead of Jam at this point. Jim on wise. He's only 5.5 seconds behind Kale. Jam might be under threat from him as well. He's got a quarter of a tank of fuel, but can still go for a little while. And Darren Salmon a little bit further back. Then we're looking at the Group 4 cars. Gasman still leading from Intulu by 7 seconds now. He's just done his fastest lap time with a 2:12.084. And Intulu there, a 2:12.4. That he's getting the blue flags, so one of the leaders is coming across Intulu. 16 seconds behind them is Shadow Rider. But he's 13.8 seconds ahead of Skyjacker. Skyjacker and Talleyrand still together on track. Let's have a look from Skyjacker's point of view. Round here at Bathurst. All the way down under. Talleyrand chasing Skyjacker. These are the two head honchos of the Virtual Racers Club, a boss and the second boss, in a battle 2 tenths apart. Heavy on the brakes, going down the S's, into the dipper. You can see Talleyrand's back end all over the place. It's a real fight to keep that car under control. He was in a Jaguar. He's chasing the Corvette of Skyjacker through Forest Elbow and down Conrod Straight. This is where he'll be hoping to get some toe off of the Corvette and try and nip that Chevy in the bud. Big stretch there. We're just going up to 50 minutes of racing. These guys' arms, they must be ready to fall off. Talleyrand is right on the bumper of Skyjacker. They're going towards... I don't think there's going to be much they can do. Oh, it's side by side, but no. Skyjacker taking the inside line and staying just ahead. Excuse me, of Talleyrand. Meanwhile, Stevie Styler's coming up to lap these two. There, Hell's Corner. He's going for Hell's Corner. He's doing it. Talleyrand has made the move in Hell's Corner, and Skyjacker there. His left hand. Whoa! Stevie Styler having to cut through between the two cars. Fantastic move there from Stevie Styler. Whilst Talleyrand making the move on Skyjacker and moves up into 4th place. 14 seconds behind Shadow Rider. What can he do from there? We're nearly 50 minutes into racing now. Now Skyjacker is catching back up with Talleyrand. It's non-stop down here with these guys. So on board with Skyjacker in his Chevy. Chasing down the Jag. 33 seconds behind us, Jokers. He's in, what is it, 6th place. See Talleyrand on the brakes there as Skyjacker rocks up to the back of his bumper. Chevy seems a little bit more stable. Going down the hill into Forest Corner. Whoa, I don't know what happened there, but Talleyrand had to swing out. And there we see Skyjacker whipping through, but he's got Homesick Alien also trying to lap him. At the same time, Racer Brown is into the pits. Matt Psycho also into the pits. So the two leaders opting to pit at the same time. They both need fuel. Racer Brown stayed out a lap longer last time, didn't he? But this time, no. They've both come in 13 seconds apart. Here comes Stevie Styler. He's going around again. His fuel's flashing, but he cares less about that, and he's going around again. Matt Psycho still fueling up. So Stevie Styler moving up into second. Is he? Homesick Alien there in third. Matt Psycho is staying in fourth, but he's coming back out onto the track. He's come back out on the track ahead of Stevie Styler. He's still in second spot. He's some 16 seconds, it says, behind Racer Brown, with Stevie Styler there in the last podium position. Only 7/10 behind Matt Psycho, trying to grab that toe, but his fuel is absolutely empty. Homesick Alien, he's got loads of fuel left. He can still keep going. Only 6.3 seconds behind Stevie Styler, and Stevie Styler is on the bumper of Matt Psycho. This is crazy racing here. 16.7 seconds ahead is Racer Brown, but Matt Psycho, Stevie Styler and Homesick Alien all not that far apart. 20 seconds behind them is Kale. Kale having a mission of a race, and there Jam 2.6 seconds, but no, Jam hasn't. Jam pitted on lap 23, it seems. I missed it, sorry. So in 5th. Still not pitted for Cal, but he pitted really late the first time around. 2.5 seconds on fresher tyres. Jam is hunting him down. Jim One Wise we saw making, no, Darren Salmon was the one we saw, but it looks like there's a move on here. Darren Salmon having problems getting into the pit lane, and he's going side by side with the Chevy of Jim One Wise. Jim One Wise slipping back into that 8th spot behind Darren Salmon. Darren Salmon having a great couple of laps, obviously, to come back from that. Did a 2:13 his last time around, so maybe Jim One Wise, he's just come out the pit lane. There you go, he's pitted. So it's race on between these two, and Jim One Wise loads more fuel than Darren Salmon. Hoo-wee. So what's going on down here then? In first place, Gazman. He's low on fuel. He'll be making a pit stop soon in Tulu. 7 seconds behind. There goes Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler finally making that pit stop. Homesick Alien taking over 3rd place, but Gazman is leading for the Group 4 cars. And he's got the leader of the Group 3 cars just coming up to lap him now. LG in the chat says, right, I'm back for the rest of the race. There you go. And there you see Gazman going around the wall of death. In Tulu will be liking that. 6.9 seconds behind him, but his fuel is flashing. They're both going to need to have a pit stop soon. In 3rd, Shadow Rider, some 20 seconds behind these guys, but he's got a quarter of a tank of fuel. He's going nice and strong. Skyjacker is ahead of Talleyrand again, and he's just getting lapped by Stevie Styler, who's just pitted. He's come out in 4th place. 16.8 seconds behind Homesick Alien. Homesick Alien, his tyres are getting old, but he's got plenty of fuel to keep going. Kale is only 3.2 seconds behind Stevie Styler. He will be pushing hard. He's trying to get past Talleyrand right now. And there he goes, is he? Yes, just about got past Talleyrand, because he's hunting Stevie Styler down. He's hunting himself a Zingray Jaguar. 4 seconds between Stevie Styler and Kale. Jam 6 seconds behind Kale. Darren Salmon only 1.2 seconds ahead of Jim One Wise. There is mini battles up and down the field. Jim One Wise giving it a bit of drift. Lovely. There you go. Have it, Vin. Bit of Vin Diesel. It's Vin One Wise. Start calling him with his drifting. So Gazman into the pits in Tulu, following him in also. So these two, it's a battle of the pit crews. Shadow Rider, he's still got plenty of fuel in there. He might just carry on, but 20 seconds behind. I think, you know, they might get back out before he gets there. Skyjacker only 12 seconds behind Shadow Rider. There's barely anything in it here. And there it looks like he is going to move ahead of no, Gazman's back out of the pits, and Shadow Rider, and so is in Tulu. So there you go. So ninth and 10th, first and second in and out before the third person catches them up. And now it's only 4.1 seconds behind his Shadow Rider. With 12 seconds behind him is Skyjacker on half a tank of fuel. Talleyrand also half a tank of fuel, only 1.5 seconds behind Skyjacker. He thinks he's having a bit of a race. We saw Jam lapping Skyjacker up ahead. So Racer Brown is leading the way and nearly 16 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho pushing the hell out of that car at 2:01.966 last time around. Looks like Racer Brown starting to pace himself, only at 2:02.631. He's fuel saving maybe, or just making sure he doesn't make a mistake. He's built a buffer and he's using it to great, I don't know what the word is. He's using it he's using it well. Matt Psycho pushing, trying to get that first place off of Racer Brown. Meanwhile, Homesick Alien, we saw, hadn't pitted. It's moved him ahead of Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler in the pits, put some fuel in. Now he's pushing back out on track. He's 5 seconds ahead of Kale. Kale's tyres starting to give up on him, with Jam only 4.6 seconds behind him. Meanwhile, Darren Salmon and Jim One Wise, although Jim One Wise dropped back a couple of seconds now. Darren Salmon managing a 2:03.5 his last time around. Jim One Wise doing a 2:06.5. But look, his fastest lap is a 2:03.443. Like I said, now we're coming up to an hour of racing. Fatigue will be setting in. Most of our racers in the VRC are no longer than an hour, maybe Formula X with just slightly over an hour. At best, we're talking a couple of minutes. So a 2.5 hour race, it's not something these guys are used to that often. Gazman seems to have lost a couple of seconds on Intulu there. They were 6-7 seconds apart, now they're 4.5 seconds. I think though Intulu did put a little bit less fuel in than Gazman on their last pit stop. But that is far from over there, that battle. First and second in the Group 4 cars. Shadow Rider quite close behind, but we think he's going to have to pit pretty soon. Skyjacker, he might be able to close that gap between Shadow Rider, saving on a pit stop, but his tyres are looking quite rough. He's done a 2:14.5, where Shadow Rider 2:15.2, so yes, Skyjacker looking like he's on a good strategy there to try and jump into third spot. Talleyrand just over a quarter of a tank of fuel, 2:14.0 his last time round. He's been following in Skyjacker's wake for a fair few laps now. There is a Jokus. Jokus has gone for the medium tyre. Interesting stuff. Where did he last pit? Can't see. It's not on the board. So Jokus been driving around a long time there, but he's only getting 2:16s. A 2:15.5 at best on lap 21 and lap 19. but on a whole they've been a mixture of 216s, 217s on those medium tyres. He is saving on a pit stop. He's only half a tank of fuel, but he's now 44 seconds behind Talleyrand, so I'm not sure if that medium tyre is the way to go. Racer Brown 16 and a half seconds ahead of Matt Psycho, and there was me saying he's taking the foot off the gas. He's taking it easy. He's gone and done another bloody fastest lap, a 201.521. Some crazy pace there from the Brown racer, and he looks like he's trying to do it again. Matt Psycho 202.0 his last time around. But everything's looking steady and tidy in the car. The tyres looking great. Fuel, half a tank, is fine. He's 11 seconds ahead of Homesick now. Homesick, we haven't noticed, but he still hasn't come in for that pit stop. 2 seconds he's lost on Stevie Styler. He was 16 seconds ahead. Now it's down to 14 and a half. But Stevie Styler's last lap at 202.2 was his best lap when the tyres were brand spanking new. Whereas Homesick Alien's not too bad at 203.2. He's not losing a lot of time on those degraded tyres. We've got to remember he's on a lighter fuel load. Stevie Styler is 6 seconds ahead of Kale. We thought Kale will have to pit pretty soon. Jam also. Darren Salmon definitely will need to pit. We saw he pitted really early. He's coming up to lap that duo of Talleyrand and Skyjacker. A tenth apart now, these two. Let's sit on board Talleyrand, as it feels like to be lapped by a Group 3 car. He's going for the move, but no, it's not on. Going down into the dipper, but there looks like Skyjacker's made a mistake. They've come together. Skyjacker's carried on, and there is the Group 3 car of Darren Salmon's Jaguar just passing by, but it looks like Skyjacker's waiting. Also, there's Jim on Wise. Jim on Wise not that far behind Darren Salmon, but he's got sandwiched between the two cars. There he goes. He blasts past Skyjacker, and it looks like Skyjacker. And I think Talleyrand's giving him a nudge to say, no, 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 keep going. I'm enjoying this race. Don't let me past. And that hazard lights there from Skyjacker to say, thank you very much, good sir. So Talleyrand trying to make the move up the inside, but he's on the outside of the chase, and Skyjacker again there maintaining that place. 11th, third place then has come into the pits, Shadow Rider. So Skyjacker not needing to pit yet, nor Talleyrand. Looks like they're going to move up to third and fourth temporarily, but how long can they stay out for? Skyjacker, a quarter of a tank of fuel. Talleyrand, a quarter of a tank of fuel. Shadow Rider now down into, what's that, 5th place. Whilst he tops up with fuel. In Tulu, still in second, chasing down Gazman. It's 5 seconds in it. They're getting the blue flags. A 2:13.091 from Gazman his last time round. In Tulu doing a 2:12.8. So in Tulu on a push. Trying to catch up. Pat said not bad time for Jokers on the medium tyres, still about the same pace as I was doing. And I think that's Noxie. He said you sent them last week. Hey? Oh, sorry, I'm missing some chat here. Here we go. Sorry, I'm missing some. In Tulu, looks like he's going slow there. Or he's just getting around the corner as I was reading the chat, but there's a load more chat that I've missed. So IRG says, has everyone done their time trials? This is for the Zingray time trial for a great competition that we're running with IR Graham, and the prize being that you get a test in a proper professional race team go-kart. And it's a fantastic prize, really. It's all on Discord. What you got to do, you got to set 3 separate times in separate cars as allocated in the rules on Discords, and the fastest 10 they'll add them times up between the 3 different vehicles, and the top 10 will go in for a race, and I believe the winner and another person, not necessarily second place, but just deemed by a panel to be worthy, will go forward for a test in IRG's professional kart team. So he's asking if anyone's done their time trials. Noxie says, I have set my times but not sure if they are any good. G says, nice one, have you sent them to Jam? Pat says, not bad time for Jokers on the medium tyres, still about the same pace as I was doing. Noxie says, you sent them last week? Yes, sent them last week. G says, awesome, not sure how many have sent them in yet. Endurance Nut says, just joining, what's occurring? G says, Racer Brown is crushing it, which yes, he is. 17 seconds virtually ahead of the field. He's doing regular 201s. Matt Psycho managed a 201.8 the last time around, but he's in the early 202s. He's 27 seconds ahead of Stevie Stylus. Homesick Alien, sorry I missed that. Did make his pit stop, come in. He's only 10 seconds behind Stevie Styler. We've still got an hour and a half of this race to go, so anything can still happen. 7 seconds behind Homesick is a Jam ahead of Kale, so Kale making his pit stop also, dropping some 14.5 seconds behind Jam. Jam's fuel is absolutely flashing though. Look how neat he is with his tyres in his Spider-Man Corvette. And there he goes into the pits, much to the relief of Kale, who will be coming around, I'm sure, to take that position away. There's Jim on Wise ahead of Darren Salmon, so a lot. 17 seconds ahead of Darren Salmon. 2:26. Oh, Darren Salmon pitted. Yeah, we saw his fuel was flashing. So Jam in the pits. Gazman, we've seen into him and Intula pitted at the same time quite a while ago now, 5 laps ago. It seems like it wasn't that far long ago. Intulu 7.6 seconds, so he's lost a bit of time on Gazman. Gazman's last lap a 2:12.7. Intulu's a 2:13.0, 2:14.8 before that. So it looks like Intulu struggling with something. Fatigue maybe kicking in there. It looks like Talleyrand still hasn't pitted. That's why Skyjacker has pitted. He slipped back behind Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider catching up Talleyrand on the track there. Skyjacker after his pit stop. Whoa, that Corvette, he wants to swing. In the chat, yeah. Noxie says Racer Brown is on fire. G says he is in a different league right, not with Matt. And G says, oh, now, so he's in a different league right now with Matt, sorry. He's in a different league with Matt. There you go. So Skyjacker 16 seconds behind Shadow Rider. He's waiting for Talleyrand to make his pit stop to see where he comes out. You got Racer Brown cutting through the GR4s again. Seems like every time we cut to the GR4s, Racer Brown's there. He's photo bombing everything tonight in that Red Bull Jaguar. Go on, Racer Brown. He's loving life right now, isn't he, eh? How much more fun can you get? He's stuck behind this car though, so what's that doing to his times? 14.9 seconds. Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho's trying to push all the time. Racer Brown getting held up behind Talleyrand, and still behind Talleyrand all the way through the mountain section. That will be painful for him. 12.9 seconds. It's dropping every corner. Now they've got through Forest Elbow, and now Racer Brown can be on his way with quarter of a tank of fuel. Matt Psycho just over a quarter of a tank of fuel. It's down to 11.2 seconds. That's great stuff there. Waiting for Talleyrand still to make his pit stop. Stevie Styler in that third place, some 30 seconds or just 28 seconds behind those first two, but he's only 10 seconds ahead of Homesick Alien. Homesick Alien on a different strategy from the rest of the guys. Get a 204.1 his last time around, but he's been doing 203s, 202s. Kale 22 seconds behind Homesick Alien. 2:04.7 on his last time around. So I think these cars, when they're weighed down a bit, not managing to pull those lap times out that they are when they're getting to near the end of their pit stop. Jam in 6th, he's only 1.8 seconds behind Kale. Sat on board Jam's Chevy. As we can see, Kale ahead of us, tantalising. How much closer can we get together with him? We're on lap 34 now of 73. So still not quite halfway, not far off halfway. But not quite. Yum yum, just drinking of my drink whilst we're sat on board with VRC Jam on his Chevrolet Corvette in the Group 3. He's 6th place, chasing down Kale, who's in 5th place. He's only 2 seconds behind Kale. Nothing in it between their their lap times. A 2:04.1 for Jam last time around, whilst Kale did a 2:02.8. So Kale really ragging it. He's really pushing now. Jim on Wise, he's some 17.8 seconds ahead of Darren Salmon. Darren Salmon just lapping in Tulu in 2nd for the Group 4 cars. There we see the leader of the Group 4 cars, Gazman. He's 8.2 seconds ahead of Intulu right now, and who is 30 seconds ahead of Talaran. Talaran still hasn't pitted. He's going to pit now. He needs to. What does this do between him and Skyjacker? Shadow Rider. Oh, God. Shadow Rider moving back up into that 3rd spot. But he's some 30 seconds behind the leader now, or 2nd place. So he's lost a further 10 seconds between stints on Intulu. Skyjacker, he's going to be moving up into 12th. Is he though? Joker's there in 14th. There's Talaran still fueling up. There's Skyjacker getting to Hell's Corner. He's coming through. Talaran's on the move now. It's going to be close. No. Skyjacker having a great stint. Excuse me, he's had a great stint. He's pulled out some time on Talaran. These two were very close on track. Now they're 3.7 seconds apart, but we will see Talaran on those fresh tyres absolutely close that up. And you can see Talaran's really topped up with fuel. He's going for a long run. Joker's coming in finally with those medium tyres. What's he going to go for next? Another set of mediums maybe, or is he going to go with something a bit racier? There is a Racer Brown. He's still got the fastest lap. His fuel is flashing. Matt Psycho's 12 seconds apart, these two. Matt Psycho maybe got another lap in that, but will he just go in to do what Racer Brown does? Stevie Styler, some 30 seconds behind these guys. He did a 2:02.980 his last time around, and now he's come across Talaran on track in the Group 4 car. Talaran just sliding it around. Can he get through quite swiftly? He does, but he's still got Skyjacker to come across. Racer Brown into the pits. There we can see the speed difference between a Group 3 and a Group 4. Ooh, he wasn't sure, was he? Wasn't sure where Skyjacker was going then. So Matt Psycho coming along the start straight. He's still fueling up. Is Racer Brown still fueling up? So Matt Psycho coming around Hell's Corner, but his fuel is now flashing. So it's only a false thing at the moment. Matt Psycho leading this race, but he needs to pit. He's in 4th. So Racer Brown, new tyres, and he's back out again to chase down Matt Psycho, but Matt Psycho will have to be in the pits by the end of this lap. Stevie Styler, some 20 seconds behind these guys, got a couple of laps of fuel left in that car. Tyres seem to be okay. He's less than 10 seconds ahead of Homesick Alien, who's got loads of fuel. Wow, when did he pit? He pitted on lap 30. He pitted a while ago, but he really topped up with fuel. Wow, the Just Giving is up to £630. So we've really exceeded our target by 130 so far. Thank you for everyone out there who has given. We really appreciate it, and you're really helping out some families. You really are. You're really making the difference. Like Matt Psycho, he's been through it, and he says they just couldn't have done it. They couldn't have done it while his little one was at Great Ormond Street, I think. They gave him residency, him and his wife, so they could be there for his child, and there's no government funding for it. It is purely just what people can give, and it's a great cause. It really is. So Matt Psycho, we assume, is going to come into the pits on this lap with Racer Brown on his fresh rubber, flying around. There he goes, he's in the pit lane. So Matt Psycho into the pits. Racer Brown, he put 3/4 of a tank of fuel in. He's just coming around to retake the lead of the race. Stevie Styler, he'll be into the pits also, we think. Matt Psycho still hasn't moved, he's still getting fuel put in, but there is Stevie Styler. We think he's going to shoot into the pit lane, whereas Homesick Alien, no chance of that. He's just lapped Talleyrand and Skyjacker. Kale, some 20 seconds behind the Alien. So Stevie Styler there, he's on the start straight, but Matt Psycho out of the pits. Some 13 seconds behind Racer Brown, some 8-9 seconds ahead, 10 seconds ahead of Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler, brave move, not going into the pits. Can that fuel last for the rest of this lap? Homesick Alien there, 12 seconds behind Stevie Styler, but he's got plenty of fuel. He's really conserved this stint. He must have put a lot more fuel in than the other guys. Kale also, half a tank of fuel, still raring to go. Did his fastest lap on lap 35 with a 2:02.206. They're on lap 38 now of 73. So we're about halfway, just over halfway. Jim on Wise into the pits, his fuel's low. Darren Salmon, he's 16 seconds behind him. These two keep hopping each other in the pits. So Jim on Wise in his Lightning McQueen liveried Chevy. He's just topping up with fuel, and there goes Darren Salmon along the start straight. I should press a few more of these, they look cool. Oh, I didn't even get to press it on. And moving up into 7th ahead of Jim White. Gazman still leading the Group 4s, 5.7 seconds, so he's lost a bit of time on Intulu. He's got 1/4 of a tank of fuel, so Intulu's got a lot less than that in his Jaguar. They're getting the blue flags. Shadow Rider still in that 3rd spot, 35 seconds behind Intulu, 18 seconds ahead of Skyjacker. Skyjacker and Talleyrand carrying on that continuous battle between the two of them. And Jokus, he did put softs on, he's back out there again, getting all racy with it. So Racer Brown, some 14 seconds ahead, he's just getting past, looks like in Tulu there. Matt Psycho and Stevie Styler is in the pits. Homesick Alien on the start straight, so there you go. Stevie Styler in the pit lane, topping up with fuel. He did only just get back, there's no fuel in that car. And Homesick Alien moving up into 3rd place with half a tank of fuel, and his tyres still looking quite tidy. What can Kale do? Can Kale close that gap? Stevie Styler back out onto the track, some 10 seconds behind Homesick Alien in 4th place. He's put 3/4 of a tank of fuel in, he's going for the long run, and there we see just 12 seconds behind him is Kale. Kale looks like he's had a bit of damage on the front of that car. He's only 2.3 seconds ahead of Jam. Jam on his way to hunt down Kale. In the chat we have Pat saying it's generally okay for a full lap past the pits with the fuel flashing, as long as it started flashing after the elbow. So Kale in 5th, being chased by Jam, 2.4 seconds apart. Alan says, go Matt, Joshua will be so proud of his daddy. And Pat says, and I'll put a picture of the helmet I was using on the Discord after the race. There you go. So no one misses anything. Jam pushing like hell to try and catch Kale up. It looks like Kale's pulling away. 2.7 seconds now from 2 seconds. Oh, Jam struggling there with a bit of tyre wear maybe. A light car, unbalanced. Racer Brown, 13.5 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho going across the line with a 201.998. Racer Brown's last lap, a 202.268, but he's on a faster stint now. Homesick Alien up into 3rd place, loads of fuel, a 202.5 from him. Stevie Styler down to 4th with his pit stop, waiting for the Alien to pit again so he can retake that 3rd place. Kale in 5th. No, Kale's now Kale's behind Jam now. We were aboard Jam like 2 seconds ago chasing Kale, and now Kale seems to have dropped. Did he pit? No, he's no outlaps there. Looks like getting past the 2 back markers, Skyjacker and Talleyrand on their ever. Well, they're just racing this whole 2.5 hours. Them 2 are really going to be shattered. Jam there is behind Kale. I don't know. I thought just now it said Jam was ahead of Kale, but no, Kale is ahead of Jam, sorry, by 1.8 seconds. I was freaking out. I don't know what I saw. Darren Salmon there in 7th place, a quarter of a tank of fuel. He's 7.9 seconds ahead of Jim 1 Wise, but Jim 1 Wise topped right up at his last pit stop. And Darren Salmon hasn't got many rotations to do until he needs some fuel. Then in 1st place for the Group 4 cars is Gazman. He is 21 seconds ahead of Intula. Intula has pitted, sorry. Intula pitted that last lap. He's on his outlap now. He's 20 seconds ahead of Shadow Rider and 21 seconds behind Gazman. So Gazman, when will he decide to pit? He's coming up to the end of the lap. They're only on lap 37, these Group 4 guys. And there goes Gazman now. He's gone in. Yeah, 41, just starting 42. No, just started 41 for the leaders. Gazman is in the pits. In Tulu, pushing, but he's only just coming out the chase. As it is, it's going to be close between the 2 of them. Gazman filling up with fuel. There comes Intulu around. Gazman there, still filling with fuel. It says Intula is ahead, but it's the first corner we've got to keep an eye on. There goes Gazman. Intulu's still on the start straight, so Gazman, yeah, gets out before Intulu reaches him. And it's 5.7 seconds between them, 5.5 seconds. It's dropping every single time I look at it. Looks like it's levelling off at around about 5.1 maybe, still dropping. 5 seconds, who knows where it's going to stop. Connor Wood says Racer Brown smashing it in first for the win. In for the win, sorry, not in first, in for the win. So in Tulu, 2nd place, chasing down Gazman. It's less than 5 seconds in it. Gazman's been on fire today, but so has in Tulu. There's nothing in it between these guys. Jam popping into the pits. Sakale going ahead. He's got half a tank of fuel, so he can keep going for a while yet. Jam topping up. Darren Salmon, he's on the pit start straight. Jam's still not moving. Darren Salmon looking like he's going to move up into that 6th spot. There's Jim 1 Wise. Jam, oh god, Jam must be out. Jam is out at the same place as Darren Salmon. It's race on between these 2. Darren Salmon a lot lighter than Jam. Jam slipping in behind the Jaguar, but he's just topped up with fuel, put brand new spanking sticky tyres on, so he'll be trying all he can to get past the Jaguar of Darren Salmon there, who will be needing to pit in the next few laps. muted the mic so I could ask my lovely family if someone would make me a latte. It's hard, it's not hard, they're them pod things where you just put it in the machine and press a button. So we'll see how many people volunteer. But still on board with Jam as he chases down Darren Salmon. Will run through, see how everyone's doing, but Jam looks like he's virtually getting there. Darren Salmon touched the wall a little bit, so Jam's got the momentum on Darren Salmon. They're coming down Conrod Straight. Jam trying to get a toe off of the Jaguar. Can he do it? His car's heavy with fuel. Darren Salmon barely got any fuel on that car. Jam going for an outside line. He's just touched the dirt and he's thinking better of it. He's just easing off a little bit. And no, ooh, I thought he was going to go for the inside there, but he's not. He's going to wait. Darren Salmon more than likely peeling off into the pit lane. No, he's going around again, much to the Jam's dismay. Racer Brown 14.6 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho 28.9 seconds ahead of Homesick Alien. Homesick Alien, quarter of a tank of fuel. He's on a different strategy than the rest of them. Stevie Styler's got that time down to 8 seconds. He's pushing like mad at 202.7 his last time around. He's just lapped in Tulu again. Homesick Alien at 205.2 his last time around. That's not a good time for Homesick Alien, so Stevie Styler pushing like hell. There is Kale in 5th place, 204.1 his last time around. He's 14 seconds behind Stevie Styler and he's 35 seconds ahead of Darren Salmon. Darren Salmon definitely needed to come into the pits now, whereas there is Jam. He was racing Kale not that long ago, so imagine after Kale's pit stop he'll be dropping out around where Jam is somewhere. Jam is hunting Darren Salmon and now we'll get some in-car goodness as we drive down the mountain. IRG says, Thingy, you're going to get some times in. Would be good to see you try and get in the final. I might have a go. I had the wheel set up today. I was doing some daily A in that Renault Clio. It was alright, it was fun. Couldn't get it off the line as fast as the other people. Here we see Jam moving up towards Darren Salmon in the tow. He's going to make it work for him. He's going to get ahead before they get to the chase. And there you see Jam going ahead with the superior, stickier tyres. Bit of a heavier car. Darren Salmon sticking to the back of him. We think Darren Salmon's going to peel straight off into the pit lane. There he goes. I hope he gets smoother into the pit lane this time. No, oh, I thought he was going wide then. There he goes. He's in. He's in. Everything's cool. Everything's smooth. Driving around, robbing banks, so whacked on the Scooby Snacks. So Jim One Wise moving ahead of Darren Salmon yet again in their pit battle at the back of the Group 3 cars. Darren Salmon getting back out onto the pits just behind Racer Brown. He's gone a lap down. So Gazman still leading the way, 7.5 seconds ahead of Intulu in the Group 4 cars. Intulu a 2:14.5 his last time around. Gazman did a 2:12.3. Gazman really in the really in the zone at the moment. Shadow Rider 20 seconds behind Intulu, who's 15. Oh, Talleyrand's got ahead of Skyjacker. Skyjacker not pitting. I'm not sure when Talleyrand pitted. No, Talleyrand hasn't pitted recently. Oh, Talleyrand pitted lap 32. And we haven't seen Skyjacker pit, but he's just got lapped by a VRC Jam. So Skyjacker seeing the behind of its big brother Corvette. Talleyrand some 6 seconds ahead. We missed that, I do apologise. But Talleyrand absolutely flying at the moment. A 2:12.614. Half a tank of fuel. Shadow Rider is low on fuel. We'll have to pit soon. 2:14.2. Oh, thank you. My wife made me a latte in the end. My 2 children, who get everything for free, ignored me. So Racer Brown, 18.4 seconds. Look at that, 2:01.4, 2:01.9. He really is in the zone. We're 44 laps into this race, and he is just starting his stint. He's got just under half a tank of fuel. His tyres hardly scratched. Matt Psycho, just under half a tank of fuel. Tyres barely touched. 2:02.1. He's pushing his nuts off, trying to keep up with Racer Brown. The two Jaguars, absolutely immense today, at 2:01.5. He can't help but do 2:01s. And there we see Matt Psycho heading towards the line. And he is going to manage just on the dirt a little bit. He's going across the line with a 2:02.3. You see, that's the difference. Homesick Alien still hasn't come into those pits yet. Stevie Styler though, 4.8 seconds. Stevie Styler absolutely beasting these laps. A 2:02.7 the last time round. Homesick Alien managing a 2:04.551. So Stevie Styler really set to retake that podium place from Homesick Alien just as he comes up to lap Jokers in the Group 4 Jaguar. There they go, passing each other on the main straight. Kale now 5th place, some 30 seconds behind Stevie Styler and 37 seconds ahead of Jam. Jam is 4 seconds ahead of Jim One Wise, so straight out battle there. Jim One Wise doing a 2:03.656 last time round. Jam doing a 2:05.192. So Jim One Wise set to roll up to the back of Jam. Darren Salmon some 11.5 seconds behind Jim, just pitted, quite a bit of fuel. Head down, crack on there in his silk cut Jaguar. Leading for the Group 4s is Gazman, some 6.5 seconds ahead of Intulu. He did a 2:13.321 his last time around with Intulu doing a 2:12.1, so Intulu on a push now. We are 1.5 hours into this 2.5 hour race. 1 more hour to go, guys. 1 more hour. There we can see a Shadow Rider Skyjacker also coming into the pits. He needed to pit. Talleyrand still got loads of fuel. Did he pit just recently? Doesn't seem to have. So Shadow Rider, we see he needs to pit. He's coming around this lap. Talleyrand staying out there. He's only 15.6 seconds behind Shadow Rider. Skyjacker pitting, getting in some fuel. Jokus is a minute behind those guys. So Racer Brown 70's coming across lapped cars again. There he is, Talleyrand in the VRC liveried Jaguar, and he's there having a look. This is holding him up, which helps Matt Psycho. Homesick Alien finally coming into the pit. Stevie Styler will be happy about that. He's already on the start straight and he's through. Back into his 3rd spot. I imagine he feels it is his 3rd spot. He's been in it for most of the race. There is Kale, somewhat too far back, we think, to make a difference to Homesick. Oh, he's just going wide in the chase and he needs to pit himself. Jam, 28 seconds. He's 5 seconds ahead of Jim One Wise. Homesick Alien back out onto the track. Some 16.7 seconds behind Stevie Styler. Kale coming into the pits, but Jam has got to be way too far back, we think, to be able to make an impression on Kale. How much fuel will Kale put in though? Jim One Wise some 5 seconds behind Jam, with Darren Salmon just coming across. Talleyrand in his GR4 Jaguar. Then you've got the leader of Group 4. Have they just been in? They haven't been in recently, have they? No, lap 37. They're only on their lap 43. Shadow Rider then. Shadow Rider has come in. We said his fuel was low. There is a Talleyrand some 15 seconds behind, with Talleyrand already on the start straight. It's saying he's ahead of Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider hasn't moved yet. Talleyrand, he's got plenty of fuel. He's not going to need to pit for a while yet. Shadow Rider's still filling up. And there we see Talleyrand moving up into third spot, it seems. Yes, third spot. Shadow Rider out in fourth. Shadow Rider's got a lot of fuel on that car though. Keep him going for a while yet. They're 43 seconds ahead of Skyjacker, who is 44 seconds ahead of Jokers. There you go, Jokers. Have one of those. Whoosh. Oh. So Racer Brown leading 14 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Dropped a bit of time there. He did a 2:05.4 on his last lap. Maybe he was lapping some people. I believe he was. So Matt Psycho, 14.5 seconds. He's coming across. Who's that? Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider just coming out of the pits. Matt Psycho coming across him. It's cost him a little bit of time. It's back up to 16 seconds between him and Racer Brown. 38 seconds behind them is Stevie Styler. We saw he's got a quarter of a tank of fuel. It didn't seem that long ago. He's going in and topping up. No, so yeah, lap 38 I think was his pit stop. It's a while back. So Homesick Alien has just come out of the pits. He's on a push. See if he can do anything about that. 17.8 seconds to Stevie Styler. He's got 3/4 of a tank of fuel, where Stevie Styler only has a quarter. Kale in 5th place. He's only 6.2 seconds ahead of a Jam. He did that was his outlap, so we can't judge him by that time. Jam on a super consistent push at the moment. 2:2:04s. He's only 6.2 seconds behind Kale. Kale just been into the pits. Oh, he's put a lot of fuel into that car. Jam just under half a tank, enjoying a very much lighter car than Kale at this point. Jim on Wise, 6.5 seconds behind Jam. 10 seconds ahead of Darren Salmon. Darren Salmon has got half a tank of fuel, whereas Jim on Wise and Jam, I think, will need to pit. Jam and Darren have got a similar amount of fuel. Gazman leading the way, 7.9 seconds in that Group 4 race. And Talleyrand now up into third, but 40 seconds behind the leaders. Shadow Rider 5 seconds behind Talleyrand, pushing. He's come out of the pits. And he's got Talleyrand just up ahead. Talleyrand 1/4 of a tank of fuel. Skyjacker 24 seconds behind these guys. He's got a lot of fuel as well, so they're going for a longer run, whereas Talleyrand, he's still got, you know, he can still keep going, it seems. It's a Shadow Rider wanting his podium position back. Shall we go on board in the Group 4 car for a little bit? I feel like I've neglected the Group 4 cars. I haven't done it on purpose. So we're heading towards Skyline and the S's. Down to the Big Dipper, sorry, not the Big Dipper. That's all already happened. And then into Forest Elbow, onto Conrad Straight. See what sort of speeds they're getting by the end of this straight. See a car in the distance there. Doubt that's Talleyrand. I don't know what car he's coming across. Maybe Talleyrand, 4 seconds. Might be catching Talleyrand up, you know. Talleyrand's tyres, quite old. 161, 163 miles an hour. Racer Brown has come into the pits. Racer Brown is into the pits. Matt Psycho electing not to pit the same lap this time. He's carrying on. Racer Brown topping up with fuel. Matt Psycho around the first corner and into the lead of this race. And Racer Brown out into a second spot, 3.9 seconds behind Matt Psycho, but he's all fueled up, brand new rubber. Matt Psycho, and now his fuel is starting to flash. Stevie Styler, some 54 seconds behind the leaders. Unbelievable pace they've had up front today. Homesick Alien, some 16.2 seconds behind Stevie Styler. 38 seconds ahead of Kale. Kale looking like he just tapped a barrier and got past a Group 4 car. And he's 6.7 seconds ahead of Jam. Jam is only 6 seconds ahead of Jim One Wise. Jim One Wise is less than 10 seconds ahead of Darren Salmon. So it could all close up at the back of the Group 3 cars. Gasman there. Looks like he's just about to get lapped by Kale. Kale coming through. And that Dodge Viper has led this Group 4 race from start so far. I don't want to say to finish because I don't want to give anyone any cursors. And there you see in Tulu, nearly 9 seconds behind now. His fastest lap, 2:12.1. Gasman, we can't see what his fastest lap was, but he's done a 12.1 on, no, that was his out lap, I think. 12, no, he did a 12.1 on lap 43. Not even that's his fastest lap, so I dread to think. Getting the blue flags, I bet they feel like that's all they've had this whole race is blue flags. As a Jim One Wise, Matt Psycho then into the pits. We knew it was going to happen. And Racer Brown retaking the lead. Oh dear. Racer Brown retakes the lead whilst Matt Psycho is stationary getting fuel. Stevie Styler, he needs to pit as well, so Homesick Alien only 15.9 seconds behind Stevie Styler. It's not looking too bad of a strategy for Homesick Alien at this point. Matt Psycho just coming out of the pits there, some 17.6 seconds behind Racer Brown. Stevie Styler some 40 seconds behind Matt Psycho. He's elected not to go in the pits this lap. He's going to wait until the next one. Homesick Alien's got to just push to try and build a buffer up for when Stevie comes out of the pits. There is Kale. Kale's loads of fuel. He's going for a while now. Jam, he's less than a quarter of a tank. He's pushing hard to stay ahead of Jim On Wise. He's just lapped the leader of the Group 4 cars. Jim On Wise needing to come and see that pit stop soon. Darren Salmon only 7 seconds behind, quarter of a tank of fuel, so Darren Salmon could quite catch Jim On Wise. There is Gasman leading the way for the Group 4 cars. 2:13.4 is the last time around in Tulu, some 8.6 seconds behind. 2:14.1 on his last time around, but in Tulu needs to pit. Gasman still got a few laps left in him. Talleyrand some 42 seconds behind these guys. And Shadow Rider is catching Talleyrand up. We were sat on board Shadow Rider, weren't we? Big stretch. Sorry guys. There is Shadow Rider. There is his helmet. It's all good, all awesome. We're at 1 hour and 43 minutes. I'll have a quick look how the charity's doing, because this is why we're doing it. All the contestants paid to play, as they say in Tula, into the pits then at the moment. Whilst Talleyrand being chased down by Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider trying to keep that Dodge on the road, chasing down the Jag of Talleyrand. In Tulu, looks like he's in and out in second spot. Talleyrand doesn't even look that much closer. Stevie Styler also coming into the pit, so Homesick Alien will be pleased about that, I can tell thee. So I've gone to the Virtual Racers Club's website. I've clicked on the big picture of Bathurst at the top of the page. There goes Homesick Alien up to third. Stevie Styler still topping up with fuel. It's this first corner, that's where the exit of the pit lane is. Stevie Styler's being released. Homesick Alien just around. It's going to be close between these two. Here comes Stevie Styler out onto the track. He's only 3 seconds behind the Alien. So that is great. Wow, we're up to £650 in the charity. We had a £500 target, so we've exceeded that. So that's fantastic. Thank you to Jill Marshall, Ross Marshall, both just put in. Thank you very much. Great stuff. Brilliant. So back to the race. Stevie Styler 3.5 seconds behind Homesick Alien. Homesick Alien, 35 seconds behind Matt Psycho. But I think you had to put your special pants on to race Racer Brown and Matt Psycho today. But Homesick Alien in a battle for third with Stevie Styler, and I'm not sure. I think it might be Stevie Styler's podium, but it could be snuck away from him by Homesick Alien. Kale, some 33 seconds down the road from Stevie Styler. He's pitted. He's got nice 3/4 of a tank of fuel. He's got Jam some 10 seconds behind him, but the last we saw, Jam needed to pit. Darren Salmon, 15 seconds to Jim Unwise, must have pitted. Yes, Jim Unwise recently pitted. Darren Salmon ahead of him, but he will need to pit in the next few laps. He's just got ahead of the leader of the Group 4 race, and Jim Unwise catching them guys up. There is Gasman. Gasman's 30 seconds ahead of Intulu now, but Intulu we saw pit. Gasman yet to pit. So Gasman really looking after his tyres and his fuel, going quite deep into this race where Intulu had to come in, replenish his fuel, get on some new tyres, and he's back out there again. 28 seconds behind Gasman. Talleyrand. Oh, Shadow Rider, we said he was going to catch him up. He's caught him up lovely here, and there he goes right up to the back of Talleyrand, but Talleyrand needing to go in for the pits. His car's light, but he's got no grip on those tyres, and Shadow Rider trying to take full opportunity of that situation as he's just put some lovely racing softs on, and he's got plenty of fuel to burn. So Shadow Rider doing his utmost to get past Talleyrand for third in the Group 4 category, or class as you rather, and at the moment it's a nip and tuck between the two of them, nothing in it. RG says so. Homesick and Stevie look like they both have one stop left, or will Homesick have to pit twice? I'm not overly sure. Homesick, he's got half a tank of fuel, and Stevie Styler, he's got 3/4 of a tank of fuel, so it's going to be tight. They probably only one more stop for Stevie Styler for definite. Homesick, it's going to be marginal, but Racer Brown, he's got half a tank. Matt Psycho, just over half a tank. There is Homesick coming up to lap this battle between Shadow Rider and Talleyrand for third. So Shadow Rider not making it easy for Homesick, but Homesick just driving around the beefy Group 3 car, easily being... And there goes Talleyrand. Talleyrand into the pits. I just saw Talleyrand into the pits, sorry. So Talleyrand into the pits. Shadow Rider back up into his third spot. He's getting blue flags. That will be for Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler chasing down Homesick Alien, I believe. So Talleyrand is in the pits. There is Skyjacker, some 38 seconds behind him. He's also getting lapped by Kale. Two Chevys alongside each other on track, and Kale gets through. So Talleyrand back out. Talleyrand is back out onto the track. He's 17.3 seconds behind Shadow Rider in third, and 18 seconds ahead of Skyjacker. So Shadow Rider, half a tank of fuel. So it could be anything. They're in a similar situation as Homesick and Stevie Styler, I believe. Different strategies. Intulu, 27.8 seconds behind Gasman, but Gasman yet to stop. He's just stopping now. He's just driving into the pit lane, but I think he's going to get back out ahead of Intulu at this point. Gasman, his pit crew, out to greet him. Take off the wheels of the Dodge, fill it back up with fuel. All the time, Intulu pushing that Jag, too far. Oh no, it's not what he needs for Team Renegados. He's pushing hard, so hard. And there we see the Disney-sponsored Dodge just topping up with fuel in Tulu, coming around that last corner. Oh, he'll be absolutely wicked angry with himself. And there goes Gazman onto the track. Full tank of fuel. And he's some 9 seconds ahead, 10 seconds ahead of Intulu. Brilliant though, brilliant. Pushing like mad, trying to get the win. 40 minutes left of racing, ladies and gentlemen. If you feel the urge to donate, do it now. It's for a great cause, an absolutely fantastic cause. So, Racer Brown 20 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho nearly 38 seconds ahead of Homesick Alien. But Homesick Alien, we think, is definitely going to pit before Stevie Styler. But Stevie Styler 1.7 seconds behind. Oh, he's really pushing now. These two, I don't even think it's going to be down to pit strategies. They're going to race it out on track, old-fashioned style. Kale 36 seconds behind these guys, 27 seconds ahead of Darren Salmon, but Darren Salmon's fuel is flashing. He's 7.8 seconds ahead of Jam. So Darren Salmon bringing that Jaguar into the pit lane. Jam coming round to Murray's corner. Onto the main straight. Heading towards Hell's Corner. He's going to have to... Yeah, they're only just changing the tyres. Now they've got to put some fuel. So there goes Jam round the first corner, taking back 6th place from Jim 1. No. From Darren, sorry. There's Jim 1 Wise. It's going to be tight between Darren Salmon and Jim 1 Wise. Jim 1 Wise just coming around Hell's Corner now. There's Matt Psycho. He doesn't want to get involved in any of this. He just wants to clean get through. Darren Salmon then out ahead of Jim 1 Wise, but it's nothing in it. Absolutely tense. Namika Wivery says, been trying to donate but having issues with card bank. How long do we have to make our donation? Now that you would be asking the wrong person, but I imagine it's going to be open for a while yet. But Discord's the best person to ask for that. I don't know. Oh, why did I pull away? There was some racing going on there, wasn't there? Jim 1 Wise and Darren Salmon coming across each other on the tracks. Out on board with Jim 1 Wise. Chasing down Darren Salmon here for the Virtual Racers Club Endurance event. The third one here at Bathurst in the Group 3, Group 4 cars. I haven't got a clue where the next one is. I don't know what Homesick Alien is bubbling up in his little brain laboratory. And there we go, Jim 1 Wise going for a move up the inside. I don't think it was on. I don't pass judgment myself, but I think it was a bit opportunist trying to take it up the inside of Darren Salmon there. That door was always going to get shut. But it's one if the stewards need to check out for them to look at. So Jim 1 Wise got to dust himself off and have another go. He's only 1.3 seconds behind. Let's have a look at that battle for the podium. 2.5 seconds between Homesick Alien and Stevie Styler. On board with Stevie Styler. Let's see. We might get a flash of the Alien's buttski as he disappears around the corner. There he is. That's our target. That's the man we're chasing. He stole our podium. It might not be him, it might be the one further down now. I think 2.2 seconds. We can safely say it's the next dude up the road. Excuse me, there's a whistle in my nose. It's alright now. Stevie Styler, wow, it's amazing they made that corner braking so late. Homesick Alien coming up towards a lapped car, I believe. That lapped car going into the pit lane. We'll have a quick look who that could be down there. It's not Intulu. It's not Gazman. Gazman has pitted though. 14 seconds ahead of Intulu. Shadow Rider. Ah, it was Jokers going in. It was Jokers we saw coming into the pit lane. Not seen much from our boy the Jokers there. He's got a great looking Panasonic Jaguar. So Skyjacker there in 5th, 37 seconds behind Talleyrand. He's just about to get lapped by a Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho some 20 seconds behind a Racer Brown. I don't think they're slowing down. Ooh, I don't think they're slowing down any. A 202.3 from Matt Psycho. Racer Brown at 202.5. So not even being this far out ahead as it slowed them down any whatsoever. Here comes Homesick Alien coming to lap the Group 4 leader Gasman. He's only 1.5 seconds ahead of this man, Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler, half a tank of fuel, he's coming across. Gasman really quick. This is the worst place to get caught behind one of those Group 4 cars, especially when you're chasing the Alien ahead. He's going to try and make the move there, and woo, beautiful, does it? Beautiful manoeuvre there from Stevie Styler. I know it's a Group 3 v Group 4, but still, took some balls to go for that space. So now we see Stevie Styler pulling out all the stops, chasing down the Homesick Alien with a 203.7. His last time around, Homesick Alien managing a 203.0. He is the faster man at the moment on track. But Stevie Styler has got some tricks up his sleeve, I bet you. So Matt Psycho, 38 seconds. He must have pitted. Has he not? He did a 221 on his last lap, and it wasn't a pit stop. Matt Psycho, I think, has had an issue. Racer Brown now 38.7 seconds ahead. Matt Psycho did a 221 his last time round, and it's not saying he's doing an outlap. So I'm not sure what's happened on lap 56 of 73. We're 4 minutes away from the 2-hour mark. If you guys are still out there watching, absolutely cracking stuff to you. Well done. Thank you for sticking with us. Homesick Alien 2 seconds ahead of Stevie Styler. So Homesick is only 21 seconds behind Matt Psycho now. Matt Psycho dropping a big chunk of time on his last lap. I don't know if he had a crash. Stevie Styler chasing down Homesick Alien. Kale 38 seconds behind Stevie Styler, 33 seconds ahead of Jam. Jam 13 seconds ahead of Darren Salmon. Darren Salmon is 6.6 seconds ahead of Jim on Wise. Jam looks like he's going to be looking for the pits very soon. And there we see Jim on Wise lapping Skyjacker. Gasman still leading the Group 4 cars, 11.9 seconds ahead of Intulu. Did a 214.3 his last time around. We were in Tulu doing a 212.4. So Intulu on a push. Shadow Rider, the last of the podium place, 23.4 seconds behind Intulu. He did a 213.8 his last time around. He's got a quarter of a tank of fuel. Talleyrand, loads of fuel, 15.3 seconds behind Shadow Rider. We're thinking Talleyrand might jump him through strategy for the final podium position. Interesting stuff. Skyjacker 38.9 seconds behind Talleyrand, but he's a minute ahead of Jokus. Jokus there, just warming up a new set of tyres, getting back into the flow of it. Racer Brown coming across Talleyrand on track, doing a 201.827. So he's seen his closest competitor drop about 20 seconds to him, and he decides to go for an even faster lap. Brilliant stuff, Racer Brown. I love where your head is at. Super. So Matt Psycho, 203.3 his last time around. It was clearly something oddness happened the last time. And now he's chasing Skyjacker down to lap him. 22 seconds behind him is Homesick Alien, but Stevie Styler keeping the Alien in check. Seeing the sparks coming off the Jaguar ahead of him. Just heading towards the sun. Can't see where you're going as you come down here, but he can see the rear lights or the brake lights of the Alien ever looming closer. Stevie Styler It's been his podium for majority of this race, and he just wants it back, that's all. Now we're at the 2 hour mark, 30 minutes left of racing. This time is flying by. Stevie Styler 1.2 seconds behind Homesick Alien. Don't know if the Alien might have to pit before the end of the race. Yes, there you go, confirmed. The Alien is going to be coming in the chat. Pat says there has been some really good driving on show tonight. Doesn't look like overtaking the GR4 cars on the mountain has been as much of a difficulty as I thought it might have been. Yeah, they've done great finding their way through. So Stevie Styler getting back his podium, a quarter of a tank of fuel though. So still some more pit stops to go before the end of this race, I believe. Racer Brown, a quarter of a tank of fuel, 36 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho, also on a quarter of a tank of fuel. Stevie Styler, they've all got similar fuel loads. Homesick Alien, he's going to top, that's it. I think he's going to try and take that one all the way to the end. 21 seconds behind Stevie Styler, 44 seconds ahead of Kale. But I imagine that will drop as soon as he crosses the line. 44, 46, no, it's around about 47, 49, 18 seconds, there you go. So Gale only 21 seconds, but he's only got a quarter of a tank of fuel as well. Jam, he needs to come in, he'll be coming in this lap, I believe. He's 14 seconds ahead of Darren Salmon, so that helps Darren Salmon out. There he goes in, Darren Salmon. He's only just over a quarter of a tank of fuel himself though. Don't think that's going to go for 30 minutes of driving. Jim and Wise 11 seconds behind him on a quarter of a tank of fuel as well. Well, they've all ended up on similar fuels. There goes Jam. We saw him driving into the pits in 6th place. We assumed Darren Salmon is going to take over. No. Oh yeah, no, sorry. Darren Salmon, there he goes along the main straight around Hell's Corner. Hell Corner. Up Mountain Straight towards Griffin's Bend. Jam back out already. Half a tank of fuel. Is that enough for the end? Is that all they need? Half a tank of fuel for just under 30 minutes of driving. Lap 59 of 73. Jim and Wise getting lapped by 2nd place Matt Psycho. Gazman, they've done 55 laps. So let me have a look. Racer Brown 60 laps. So 5 laps down are the Group 4 cars at this point in the race, with 27 minutes left to go. He's 11.3 seconds ahead of Intulu. Intulu just being lapped by Kale. Intulu did a 2:13.3 his last time around. Gazman 2:13.1. So nothing in it between these two drivers at the moment. Gazman going to cross the line again with a 2:13.3. Intulu also coming to cross the line. It doesn't feel like they're that far apart really, does it? I know it says 11 seconds, but 2:13.0 from Intulu, 13.3 from Gazman, so nothing in it between these two. Intulu pushing to try and cut back some of that deficit that Gazman's managed to find. Shadow Rider 26.5 seconds behind these guys. He's going into the pits. He's gone into the pits. Talleyrand, he's got half a tank of fuel left. He's just coming up to Murray's Corner. Interesting tactic there from Shadow Rider. This must be his last stop of the day, whilst Talleyrand takes over the podium for the Group 4 cars. Fantastic stuff there from Talleyrand. Shadow Rider still not out of the pits yet. And there it is. Now it says he's coming out of the pits. He can't be too far behind Talleyrand. 1.9 seconds. One to keep an eye on. It's going to be tight. He's gone for 3/4 of a tank of fuel. Talleyrand has got half a tank of fuel. Interesting stuff. Drivers can start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. There's a Racer Brown's fuel flashing. So's Matt Psycho's. Stevie Styler's not quite yet. And he's 21 seconds ahead of Homesick Alien, who we saw just absolutely tank it. Tanked that car right up. See what a really heavy Jaguar can do time-wise. Coming across the line with a 2:03.5. Not bad. Stevie Styler did a 2:03.3 his last time around. Kale just coming up to lap the leader of the Group 4 racing. He's coming into the pits. He's coming into the pits, but he's got 50 odd seconds on Darren Salmon. Oh, there we got a race there. Jam on Darren Salmon. He's caught him up. He's caught up Darren Salmon. Kale's in the pits whilst these two are racing. Jim on Wise only 4 seconds behind these guys. Is that Matt Psycho ahead of us? Going slowly on the start straight. Someone's going slowly on the start straight. It is. It's Matt Psycho. No, it's not. That's Shadow Rider, isn't it? Shadow Rider, I think. Going... Oh, God, what am I pressing? Wrong buttons. Shadow Rider, yeah. But I suppose they're lapping him. That is also Matt Psycho. So Matt Psycho behind Jam. Racer Brown into the pits. There's Matt Psycho. Racer Brown in. So's Matt Psycho, he's coming in also. 30 seconds behind. Racer Brown is back out onto the track, topped up for fuel. We've got to say that's probably his last stop of the day then. Matt Psycho also going to fill right up to go to the end. Stevie Styler, he needs a fuel stop as well. But he's gone round, he likes to make that car as empty as possible. Matt Psycho still saying he's in the pits. He hasn't moved yet. Stevie Styler is saying no. Matt Psycho retains that second spot. Stevie Styler in third, 2.9 seconds behind with the fuel is flashing. There is Homesick Alien in fourth, 21 seconds behind. He's just about to set another time. 2:02.5, so he's doing great time in that heavy car right now. Kale is on an out lap after his pits. Darren Salmon and Jam still racing. Sat on board with Jam as he chases down the Jaguar of Darren Salmon. They're getting blue flags. Imagine that would be Stevie Styler, would be the next person on the track behind Matt Psycho. And there goes Jam grabbing that toe. Is there enough room? He's up alongside Darren Salmon, and I think he's going to make the move before the corner. There he is. But Jam, he will have to pit again before the end of this race, as will Darren Salmon. Jim on Wise needs to pit next. Gazman trying to see where he pitted last. It was lap 49, so it's on lap 58 right now. He's got half a tank of fuel. He's 11.5 seconds ahead of Intulu. Jim on Wise, we said, was going to need to come into the pits, and there he goes. Intulu, 2:14.0. His last time round. He will have to pit this lap though. Gazman, half a tank of fuel, 2:13.6. So Gazman's got it all in control. There is Talleyrand, snuck into the third place there. Stevie Styler also coming in the pits. We saw the two leaders coming in. There's Stevie Styler, Homesick Alien, just coming around to the main straight. Stevie Styler topping up. Homesick Alien on the main straight. Stevie Styler topping up. He's coming up to Hell's Corner. Stevie Styler is on the move. It's going to be close. There they are. They're both on the track at the same time. Stevie Styler slightly ahead by 3/10. Homesick Alien moving back into his toe. Is this a battle till the end? It's similar fuel loads. This is it. This is a fight to the flag, I imagine. 21 minutes of racing between these two, all the way to the checkered flag. Homesick Alien trying to get up into third, but Stevie Styler says, no you don't. Oh no you don't. No you didn't. So this is a battle royale between Stevie Styler and Homesick Alien. Get on board with the Alien here. Big stretch again. Sorry, it's a long broadcast and I'm sat all hunched over my keyboard. So every now and then I need to stretch. Should have got up and have a little walk around, get that circulation going. And there we see Homesick Alien. Oh, there's a little tap there, Stevie Styler. But everything recoups and they go for it again. Only 3 tenths behind these guys. 2 hours and 10 minutes racing, and look, third and fourth are apart by 4 tenths. That is shocking stuff. IRG says, come on, bruv, Stevie Styler. Doing all he can to stay ahead of that pesky Alien, but that toe is hard to fight off. Stevie Styler doing everything he can. No, Homesick Alien. Ooh, was there a bit of a knock? I don't know, see where Stevie Styler... No, Stevie Styler stayed on track. I always think there's going to be a knock into that. It's one of those big, heavy braking zones where it's quite easy with the toe to get sucked into the back of the car in front. But it seems all's fair there. Great racing between the twos. Stevie Styler still in that third place ahead of Homesick Alien. Gale in fifth. He's some 46 seconds down on Homesick Alien, 30 seconds ahead of Jam. Jam's only 3.8 seconds ahead of Darren Salmon, but Darren Salmon is going to have to come into the pits. Looks like he's met a barrier somewhere going around there as he's lapping in Tulu. Jim on Wise in 8th. He's some 32 seconds behind Darren Salmon. I think it's a bit too far for a pit stop, so Darren Salmon should come out back ahead of Jim on Wise. Gazman there, half a tank of fuel, he's coming in. Even with half a tank of fuel and 18 minutes left of racing, he's, I suppose, 33 seconds from Intulu. Intulu has been in and topped up with fuel, so he's just reacting maybe to Intulu. So Gazman into the pits. Talleyrand is out there in third place. He's got just over a quarter of a tank of fuel. Shadow Rider has got half a tank of fuel and less than 2 seconds behind Talleyrand. Skyjacker is 36 seconds behind them guys with half a tank of fuel, and Jokers is there with half a tank of fuel also. So the leaders are Racer Brown. So Darren Salmon did come in like we said, but I don't think Jim on Wise is going to be able to get around and ahead of Darren Salmon. So, oh bloody hell, hang on. No, I want that one. I want Gazman, because he's been into the pits, he's got back out ahead. I think he just changed tyres, did he? Didn't really put any fuel in. Just wanted some fresh tyres, maybe to end the race on. In Tulu, 23.5 seconds behind Gazman, but only 20 seconds ahead of, oh god, I pressed the wrong button, that one, Talleyrand, who's only 2 seconds ahead of Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider doing a 12.8 the last time around, Talleyrand doing a 13.7. So Shadow Rider a little bit faster at this point in the race. Like I said, there's got to be some tired heads out there, proper tired heads. There we see a Racer Brown. Oh, it's not him coming up to lap Shadow Rider. 32 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho just keeps on going though. 202.091 his last time around. You can hear those engines, those wheels screeching. And Matt Psycho coming across a second spot in the Group 4s. So there is second in Group 3, second in Group 4, passing each other on the track. Great stuff. Stevie Styler. Oh, Stevie Styler 2 seconds ahead of Homesick. Is that how it was? Or has Stevie Styler gone past him? I think Stevie Styler's gone past him, hasn't he? I missed it. I apologise. So Homesick Alien only 2 seconds behind Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler doing a 2:02.351 last time around. Homescaling doing a 2:02.648. It's just tenths in it between the two of them. And this battle's going to go all the way till the end being in 15 minutes. So a final quick check on the Just Giving. I don't expect it to have changed because, you know, we've exceeded our expectations as it is. So watching Stevie Styler doing a 2:02.3. He's catching up Shadow Rider on the road. Homesick Alien a 2:03.2. So yeah, £650 for SCT by the end of the race. I suppose there could be dribs and drabs coming in, as not everyone watches this stream live. They watch it a bit later. So I imagine they'll leave it for a couple of days after that. And there is Homesick Alien trying to get past Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider himself trying to race up to Talaran. Talaran's pulled out 3.2 seconds on Shadow Rider. There was less than 2 seconds apart. But Talaran now, he is going to be lapped. So that'll cost him time as well, as it has done with Shadow Rider. Skyjacker there in fifth, definitely fifth, and Jokus in 6th place. He's got Stevie Styler coming across him. Stevie Styler had a little bump into him. He's racing like mad. He's worried about the Alien. The Alien also coming across the Jokus in the tight section. It's the last thing they need. Stevie Styler pushing like crazy. 2.5 seconds ahead of Homesick Alien. Homesick Alien has got past the Jokus. So now it's just a clean fight between them two, but he's only just getting that, dragging that Jaguar around Forest Elbow. Wow. So Racer Brown 33 seconds. There goes Jam. Jam is into the pits. He's 21 seconds ahead of Darren Salmon. That looks like Darren Salmon is just about to go into the complex and get ahead of Jam. Is that his last stop? It is. So Jam moving down ahead behind Darren Salmon. Darren Salmon, well done, my friend. Great racing. So Darren Salmon up into 6th place in the Group 3 race, with Jam moving down into 7th. Jim on Wise some 8-9 seconds behind Jam. He's got a tall order to do, as well as Jam came in the pits. I don't think he Jam came in the pits, but I don't think he changed his tyres. He hasn't changed his tyres. He just came in just for a quick replenishment of fuel. But will it be enough? With Darren Salmon on brand new tyres, he's going to have a grippier time of it than Jam will. Gazman there leading the way, as he has done for the whole race, for the Group 4 category. And what a fine job he is doing. 24.4 seconds ahead of Intulu in second spot. 20 seconds ahead of 3rd place Talaran. Talaran only 1.6 seconds ahead of this man, Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider has been in 3rd for most of this race, and I imagine he'll want that 3rd place back before the timer runs out. We're on lap 62 of 73. Are we really? We only got... These guys might be a lap down. Of course they are. They're only on 62 of 73 because they're Group 4 cars. I don't know what I was thinking. But Talaran 9/10 behind now. Shadow Rider really cutting into Talaran's lead. He doesn't want to be hitting many walls though, or he'll lose all that he's gained to Talaran. The leaders are on lap 68. So only 5 laps left at the lead. 33 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho is Racer Brown. He did a 2:02.230 on his last time around. Matt Psycho did a 2:02.057 his last time around. The fastest lap of the race is held by Racer Brown with a 2:01.394. Stevie Styler holding that podium position. Looks like Homesick Alien. He's now 5.2 seconds off. He's dropping time to Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler did a 202.531 on lap 67, his last lap, whereas Homesick Alien only managed a 204.448. So Stevie Styler just absolutely head down, cracking on to keep hold of that podium position for himself. Homesick Alien, a fine fourth, gave it a good shot. We're not saying it's over yet. We're only 10 minutes left of racing. Kale there in fifth, mowing a bit of the Bathurst straight, and he is nearly 53 seconds ahead of Darren Salmon, who is 4 seconds ahead of Jam. So Jam will be pushing like mad. He did a 2:0. Oh no, that was an outlap. Darren Salmon on his last time, he did his fastest lap with a 2:02.753. So you put a bit of jam on Darren's backside and he shifts it. Jam there in 7th place ahead of Jim in 8th. Then in the class 2, the group 3 cars, you have Gazman in the lead with Intulu in second, 25.3 seconds behind Gazman, and Talleyrand in third. But Shadow Rider has had that third for most of this race, and he has been hunting Talleyrand down for lap after lap to try and get his podium back. Can he do it? Quarter of a tank of fuel left. We're only 9 minutes left of this race. He's getting him in the tow. They're in the chase. Talleyrand going defensive for that inside line. It's on the curb. Is it disrupted him? No. It's lovely drive from Talleyrand there through that corner. And Shadow Rider is just left behind, frustrated as hell. Talleyrand just placing his car perfectly, so Shadow Rider can't get a good run on him. It's a very short straight, this part, before the first corner, at Hell's Corner. And again, Shadow Rider is just nowhere, no room to try and make a manoeuvre. 3/10 between these two after 2.5 hours of racing. It is absolutely unbelievable stuff. Watching them going up the hill towards Griffin's Bend. Shadow Rider getting the tow. Is he gonna? No. See, Talleyrand, he doesn't put it right on the inside. He just puts it slightly to the inside. But this one, it looks like Shadow Rider, he's got some part of his car up the side of Talleyrand, but he's on the outside again. You see, he's on the outside again. There's nothing he can do out there. He's had to concede the corner. Skyjacker into the pits. Skyjacker into the pits. His tyres are pretty mullered. Shadow Rider then 3/10 behind Talleyrand's. This is going to go and go. I've got to quickly have a look around. But Shadow Rider doing all he can to try and get past the VRC liveried Jaguar of Talleyrand. He's on, taking to the dirt. They're both nipping the wall. So look how close they are coming through this tight section. And again, back on the straight for another drag race down towards the chase. This one looks like Shadow Rider a lot closer. Can he do something with the tow? He was sat on boards. He might have been just a little bit too far back. He's trying all he can. There's no room there. Talleyrand making sure he goes the difficult way round. There he does, just follows, but ooh, has he got a better drive out of there than Talleyrand? No, doesn't look like it. So close between these two guys. 2 hours and 24 minutes into this race, and it's not over by a long shot between Shadow Rider and Talleyrand in the Group 4 cars, fighting over the last podium position. It's crazy stuff between these two. I've got to have a quick look through the proceedings, and then hopefully we'll watch these till the end of the race, because these two are going for it. But it's so close. There's Shadow Rider. He's trying to get the tow again, but Talleyrand will keep that car slightly to the right and make Shadow Rider go the long way around, which he's further up. He's further up. That's Shadow Rider, isn't it? Shadow Rider, he's managed to get past. Has he got past? He's got past Talleyrand. Talleyrand's got to come back at him. Talleyrand up the side of him. Got squeezed up a little bit in the wall. Wow. Great racing from these two. So, Talleyrand then. Oh, Talleyrand's fuel is running out. I don't think he's going to make that last, is he? I don't think Talleyrand's going to be able to make that last. There's Shadow Rider. Plenty of fuel, but Talleyrand is definitely going to have to pit at the end of this lap. Oh, heartbreak. He did everything. And he got let down by the Jaguar's fuel tank. So, Racer Brown, 34.8 seconds. He's on lap 71. Matt Psycho, he's in second place. And he's 27 seconds ahead of Stevie Styler. Stevie Styler, he did it in the end. He's 8.3 seconds ahead of the Alien. I thought they were going to straight out have a race till the end of this endurance event, but Stevie Styler pulling away. Did a 203.0 on his last lap. Homesick Alien, 202.9. Nothing between them. Looks like Homesick did a 205 on lap 68 and lap 66, where Stevie Styler doesn't know what a 205 is. Super consistent there. No slower than a 204. Faster than a 202. So Stevie Styler cementing that final podium position ahead of Homesick Alien, with Cale there in 5th place. A great drive from Cale. He was at the back of the Group 3s, so he slowly made his way through to get himself up into 5th place from what, 8th or something like that. Fantastic driving there from the South African. Darren Salmon, he's got ahead of Jam. He's 5.7 seconds ahead of Jam. 204.525 his last time round. Jam did a 205.1. Jam struggling with something these last 2 laps in that Corvette. Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho's nipping in. Is he going to go for a fastest lap in the last lap? Just trying to go and get himself, bag himself a little fastest lap. He hasn't put no fuel in that, so yes, we think Matt Psycho, he's got to beat a 201.394 if that's what he's trying to do. Risky business. If he makes a mistake, Stevie Styler not all that far behind him, but Matt Psycho, we'll see if he can do something better than a 201.394. Racer Brown happy to just try and bring it home. Matt Psycho going for the flying lap, but if he makes a big mess of it, Stevie Styler will be there with the Kleenex to clean up. Homesick Alien there at 4th, 10 seconds behind Stevie Styler, and nearly a minute ahead of Cale in 5th, who's 40 seconds ahead of Darren Salmon. Darren Salmon 6.5 seconds ahead of Jam. I think they're all good for their fuel. Jim on Wise in 8th for the Group 3 cars. Then leading the Group 4s is Gazman, 21 seconds ahead of Intulu, who is in 2nd spot. Had a fantastic race. Kept up with Gazman for a majority of the way. Shadow Rider up into that 3rd spot. Talleyrand, he came into the pits just for a splash and dash, but he's put him 12 seconds behind Shadow Rider, and he's 52 seconds ahead of Skyjacker. So Talleyrand there getting 4th, which isn't bad from starting last. They're saying they're starting their final lap. Racer Brown, he's on his final lap. Matt Psycho pushing. Oh, he's still on his out lap yet. He'll be coming around to try and get, well, his final lap and his flying lap. He's going to try and beat the Racer Brown's lap time. We will keep an eye on that as Racer Brown makes his way round for the final time in this 2.5-hour race. Ian Giant says, who's watching Super GT after this? Don't know. God, you'd have enough of it by now, surely. But Racer Brown coming around. Also, Gasman, both leading the way. I think Gasman's going to cross the line first. Oh no, I don't suppose he will. Because it's not a timed one, it's on laps. So he'll just carry on around again. Whilst Racer Brown is bringing her home. We'll just double check on that. I think Gasman's just going to go around again. There he goes, crosses the line. Now it says it's his final lap. And here we see Matt Psycho, he's getting purples. Ooh, is that a small mistake though? Ooh, 400 up. I don't think he's going to be able to do it, is he? Although his fastest lap, oh, he's knocked the wall now. It's all going to be very tight. Here comes a Racer Brown to take the checkered flag, the winner of the third endurance event here at Bathurst. Fantastic stuff. Congratulations, Racer Brown. Brilliant stuff. Matt Psycho trying to get that fastest lap. It doesn't look like he's going to get it. He's a 10th down though. Never say never. He's coming through the chase, and now no fuel on the car, brand new sticky tyres. He's pushing like a Billy-O to take the win. And we'll have a keep check there. Kale has crossed the line in 5th place. Here he comes, Matt Psycho, with a 2:01.4. I don't think he's done it. No, just off. Stevie Styler coming around. Hang on, let's have a look at Gasman. He's still some way off. So Stevie Styler coming around the final corner. After 2 hours and 30 minutes of racing, Stevie Styler takes the final podium position. Take a boo, my son. Homesick Alien, a gallant effort, a huge gallant effort there. And he comes around to cross the line in 4th spot. Kale 5th, Darren Salmon 6th, Jam 7th, Jim One Wise in 8th. And there we see the leader, Gasman. Shadow Rider already finishing in 11th spot. So Gasman, 11th, I mean 3rd spot for the Group 4s. And here comes Gasman now, coming up to the final corner to take the win in the 2.5 hour Group 4 category. Absolutely cracking racing from Gasman, never questioned, took the lead early and kept it. Well done, Gasman, brilliant win, brilliant win. In Tulu then, coming around to take a fantastic... Oh, has he already finished? No. It says he's got his hazard lights on, but he's still racing. So... in Tulu, coming around now to take an absolutely fantastic 2nd spot. Well done, cracking stuff in Tulu, brilliant racing. And obviously Shadow Rider took 3rd. Take a boo, my son. There's your clarification of the final standings. We made it, there you go. Brilliant stuff, Racer Brown. Never contested today. Pole position, fastest lap, unstoppable. Definitely amazing stuff. So let me take you to those race results before we wrap it up, because man alive, you've stuck with it. Fantastic stuff. So Racer Brown takes your win for the Group 3 endurance on the 3rd endurance race we've had. Matt Psycho taking 2nd spot. Stevie Styler taking the final podium position. Tickaboo, my son. Congratulations. In 4th, we had Homesick Alien. He had a massive effort. He gave it his all to try and get that podium off of Stevie Styler. Kale came 5th, Darren Salmon in 6th, Jam in 7th, and Jim On Wise finishing in 8th for the Group 3 categories. Then in the Group 4s, Gasman takes the win. Brilliant stuff there from Gasman, with Intulu pushing him all the way for 2nd spot. Shadow Rider, it was in doubt for a short while when Talleyrand looked like he was fighting for the place, but Shadow Rider in the end coming through to take 3rd place in the Group 4 class. Take a boo, my son. Then in 4th we have Talleyrand ahead of Skyjacker in 5th, and Joker's finishing in 6th. Pat had disconnection issues. So I want to really thank you for supporting us with the live stream and with the charity. We really appreciate it, all of us at VRC, and I believe the Sick Children's Trust really appreciate it too. They sent Matt a very nice thank you message. So we got to 650 quid at the end of the race. Like I said, some people watch this stream later, so they may still donate yet. I don't know how long it's going to be left up for, a week maybe or so. But thank you very much. £650 is more than we even imagined. We were thinking we were pushing it with 500 and even getting ourselves ready that we might not get the 500. But we did, and another 150 on top. So huge thank you to you all out there. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for watching. It's been an absolute blast. I can't wait for the next one. Skyjacker in the chat says he can't move now. There's going to be a lot of tired sim racers out there tonight. There's a lot of few people that feel like they've melded to their rig. Imagine they're trying to drag themselves out or just slowly roll out the side of it. Thanks to you all. Skyjacker says legends. 650 in the end, Skyjacker. I don't know if you heard. And there's still probably more to come with people who watch later. Okie dokie. Right, well, there's nothing more for me to do than just introduce myself, I suppose, and say goodbye. So thank you. Oh, you just PM'd me. Hang on a minute then. 1 second. You know, he's going to close the room, but we'll see. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Yes, 650. Yeah, thank you, Skyjacker. Right, so £650 raised so far. Keep an eye on our Discord. I've been telling you the website to go to, www.virtualracersclub.co.uk, and you can click on the big Bathurst picture if you want to donate some money towards a fantastic cause, the Sick Children's Trust, which has no help from the government whatsoever. So they house people close to the hospitals that their children are in. And what else was I saying? That's it. I've got nothing else to say. Thank you for all of that. Oh, and if you want to come into our Discord and see what's what, there's a join our community also on our website. I was your broadcaster and commentator. Oh, which one should I go with? I was your commentator, Seymour Butts. Thank you for joining us. Take care of yourselves and each other. Stay distant, but love one another. Okay? Crack on. I will see you, I think our next broadcast will be Sunday night. So see you all on Sunday evening for the Formula X. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for supporting the Sick Children's Trust. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.